let's get the footballer, even if he's too small, he's too tall, but he's going to develop late. Let's just get him into our football club and see what we can do. And I think that's a better way of recruiting.
Wrapping up the Hawks' 93-point win here at the MCG over the Bombers, who sink down to 2-17 in the campaign. Boomer Harvey's going to react to some of your texts very shortly. Got 10 minutes before we head to the Docklands for the Bulldogs and the Tigers full-time at this Giant Stadium. And, it's looking like a rough finish there for the Giants with Finn Callahan's ice on the ankle. They lose to the Swans in the end by 51 points, 139 to 88 there. Boomer, who'd you have for your 3, 2 and 1 in the ABC Sport 4?
No, we'll go 1 first and then up to 3. So I did get my Northern Knights counterpart, Josh Ward, in there for 1 vote, 33 disposals, 4 inside 50s, 10 score involvements. I thought his overall game from start to finish was so consistent. So I got him in for 1 vote. 2 votes went Impey. Jaron Impey, 37 disposals, kicked a goal in the end, 9 inside 50 and 11 score involvements. I thought, again, consistent over the whole 4 quarters. And I think if you kick 7 goals in today's football, it doesn't happen very often. Jack Gunston, 7 goals, 2, didn't make the distance on 1, so he's had 10 shots on goal, 16 disposals to go with it, and 11 marks. The only thing I didn't like about him, he came out to about 80 metres in the last quarter. Come out twice and kick the ball inside 50. Stay at home, Jack. Get 10 for yourself, mate. But he was fantastic. So Jack Gunston, 3 votes.
4 votes to Boomer Harvey for...
Yep.
We had a late change, late scrapping. Chad Wingo couldn't make it, and Boomer's gone 1 out in a blowout at the G, and he's held his own very, very well.
Just like that State of Origin game back in 1999 when you kicked 5. You were just dominating here, Boomer.
Thanks very much. Pump me up, boys. Love it.
Last task for you is to react to some of our listeners on the text line. So Stephen Ballarat says, I'm a Blues supporter, Boomer, but really sad today to learn that Essendon's best player is likely to go to the Hawks next year. I've played footy on the Gold Coast for 12 years and really sad to hear that one of the best players is going to another big team. Don't hold much hope for the bottom teams in 2027. So is the system still getting it wrong that he could go... I mean, it's going to be a trade, not a free agency move.
Yeah, it's going to be is it a trade? Is it for... Yes. Oh, he's in contract, isn't he? He signed a long contract. Yeah, so you know what? Essendon will get compensated. Should have it happened last year? Maybe. Who knows? And that's all hindsight stuff. But I don't know. It's broken. I think you still got to have salary cap space. You've still got to do everything right. You've got to manage things right as well. Geelong do it. They don't overpay too many players. And clearly, they're always up the top.
Clearly Hawthorn have done it in a way where they outkicked their coverage in that year where they really rose up the table after that slow start. And they the accounting behind this is fascinating because they've clearly front-ended a lot of deals.
Yep.
So they've got guys on long contracts, but there's not a lot of money left. So then you can bring guys in and front-end those deals while you've got the space. So Mark McKenzie and the crew behind the scenes at Hawthorn are clearly managing their cap very, very well.
And this is the part where I said you've got to forecast. And they forecast 3, 4, 5 years ahead. That's not just what's going to happen next year in 2027. How does 28, 29 and 30 look for us as well? So it's a big task, but if they can bring in... I know we're talking about 3 players potentially. If they can bring in 1 or 2 to add to this list, they're going to be pretty good.
And the reports are that Ben King will take less money. But when I say less, he could have got 1.2 to 1.3 a year at Gold Coast, and it sounds like he'll get a flat mil at the Hawks. So look, it's still a fair bit of money in terms of what he's giving up, but it's still a big contract that he's going to take. It sounds like the Suns will just let him go as a free agent because they can get 6 as compo rather than what the Hawks would have to offer in terms of their draft capital.
And that's the other part, isn't it? The flip of the coin. What does Essendon get for Zach Merritt if he does go? What does Gold Coast get for King if he does go? That's something that you've got to forecast as well, and you've got to make sure it's worth your football club as well.
And especially in a draft this year that feels like Dougie Cochrane's a boom prospect. There's sort of knocks on everyone else's game. I was talking to someone today who knows this space really well and said that there's not a standout prospect from, say, 2 to 6 or 7, and then there's 20 really good players, but there's no absolute surefire gun franchise players out of that lot. And they'll emerge, of course, but it's not like at pick 4 you're still getting Nick Watson or someone like that necessarily this year, and these things always change with time.
Bloody Stewie Cochrane couldn't turn out 100 games for the Kangas, unfortunately. I was over at Adelaide the week the Kangas played, and I went and seen my old mate Stewie and give him a bit of a clip too. Said, well, you couldn't turn out another 50-odd games or 40-odd games for the Kangas so we can get Dougie, but looks like he's going to be a star with a great career ahead of him.
Best on ground in the Sydney Derby goes to Errol Gould, and I think it's his 5th game back after the shoulder, and he had 41 touches. So they'd started him a little forward on return from the injury, but it looks like he's right back on ball and he's dominating again. And the Swans winners by 51 points there.
Favourite player in the comp. Good to have him back.
That's your favourite player?
My favourite player in the comp.
Is he really?
He's so young.
He's a beautiful footballer, Errol Gordon.
Well, that's a nice word, beautiful.
Love watching him kick. Yep, just an absolute ripper.
Love that.
Fun over the next decade, Joel. Hawks winners here by 93. Last big question for you, Boomer. This is off the text line as well from Phil, kind of in reinterpreting his message. So he says, Sam Mitchell has done his time. Ironically, he was sent to West Coast and Jordan Lewis to Melbourne. They drafted a kid called Mitchell Lewis. Sam coached Box Hill and Jai Newcomb came along as well out of the mid-season draft. It sounds like King would be handy and Merritt as well. But the sentiment, I guess, out of that text there and the question I'm going to throw to you around Coach of the Year. And there's a lot of contenders right now in terms of the sides that have risen. Some saying even Josh Carr, given what he's been able to do with the injury list, could be a contender. But, some will say Freo at the top of the ladder. They're 3 games clear. It should comfortably go to Justin Longmuir. But then you look at Sam Mitchell, and as you've said, everyone was saying they're a superstar short in the middle, and the system is what is stacking up, not so much the talent. They've got talent, but, it's the way that they're going about their game plan that has got them to this point. Is he a smoky?
Oh, it's a funny one for me. I don't know how you judge Coach of the Year. I would have thought it's as simple as give it to the premiership coach. It's very consistent. You've got the best team and potentially you coach the best. It's hard to... we are so far removed from what people do day to day. We see the 2 hours and we're here for this part, and you can see the moves he does on the ground. That is 3% of coaching, maybe 5% of coaching. Some would argue maybe it's 10% of coaching. 90% is done during the week. Your relationships that you're building with your players, the relationships that you're building with the players that are not playing, how you get them up week to week. There's so much that goes into it. I don't see how people from outside can vote on that. I would make it simple and just say the premiership coach gets the Coach of the Year.
It's a narrative award, isn't it? It's like most valuable player or something like that. It's all got to do with expectation. So Stephen King will be one of the front runners because Melbourne have outkicked their coverage this season.
Correct.
Fremantle will be one of the front runners because did we really expect them to be that good? There'll be maybe a team like Geelong, and there's a bit of a swirl around Chris Scott if he gets them to really rise at this end of the season with all their injuries going down. So you can make that case in whatever way you want.
Absolutely, you can. What Clarko get it when the Kangas finish 10th? Who knows?
and what Sam Mitchell's been doing here is he's Josh Fraser. If Carlton make the wild card from where they were, what about Josh Fraser? So it feels like. Sam Mitchell's going to be in it for a long time, but they are a remarkably run football club.
They are, and I don't know the answer to that particular question. I do know that I think that Sam Mitchell is a great coach and will become a great coach.
Yeah. Let me ask you one you might have the answer to. What are you thinking about the Roos tomorrow? So game out of the 10, they haven't played their best footy despite the expectations that came after a couple of months.
Yep.
But they're still in the hunt. Can they get there? Can they beat St Kilda tomorrow?
These are the games that we need to win. Last week it was 6 goals to 2 late in the first quarter. Then Melbourne kicked 2 to sort of keep with them. It was 4 to 6 at quarter time. I thought we started fantastic. But these are the games right now, St Kilda, the teams around us, that we need to win to say, yes, we can beat the bottom part. We haven't beat no teams in the top 6 or anything this year. But the teams around us, we need to... So, yes, the answer is yes. Can we win?
Yeah.
Absolutely we can. Should we win? I think we should as well.
Yeah, so that probably answers my yes or no question as we wrap up time, are the Roos better this year? If they lose to St Kilda and miss a wildcard spot, would you say they've still improved?
That's a question because we have beaten the 4 bottom teams and it looks good.
Essendon twice, Richmond twice.
Yeah, so that can fool you a little bit. We're certainly in games for longer. There's certainly more competitiveness. I would say overall, yes, without being outstanding.
Yeah.
Without improving significantly, we have improved, yes.
So it won't be defined by the wildcard finish?
No, I don't think so, but it would be great reward if we could slot in there.
Boomer, thank you again. One in the cage today, and you've done a terrific job.
Thanks, boys. Well done to you guys too.
As did the Hawks, winners by 93 points. Great calling as always alongside Joel Peterson. Ray Chamberlain had a lot of fun downstairs taking selfies for Abby Holmes, and Jules McKenzie did a great job on the buttons.
Wasn't in any though, notable.
And a huge shout out back in the studio to Craig Davis, who's pulling a full day as he goes back to back to back, as we all have on ABC Sport. Carlton were winners earlier over the Suns by 13 points. The Swans defeated the Giants by 51 in the Sydney Derby. Here, Hawthorn winners by 93. Jack Gunston with an equal career high 7, and now they're entrenched in third. Impey got 2 votes with a career-high 37 touches. Josh Ward was good with 33 as well. Coming up next, we're headed to Docklands. It's the Western Bulldogs in Richmond with Matt Clinch, Lauren Borden, Callan Sinclair and Nathan Burke. Enjoy your night.
I'm Maureen McGillicuddy.
And I'm Edith Vale.
And we host Another Cuppa.
Well, we natter away with some of Australia's biggest names.
Pop the kettle on with Granny Bingo.
Woke garbage.
Exactly.
Search Another Cuppa podcast on ABC Listen.
This is the 2026 AFL Premiership season.
On ABC Sport,
AFL on ABC Radio,
on digital, and ABC Listen.
Look for the AFL button.
The AFL coverage continues from Docklands as the Western Bulldogs, with no room to slip up, look to try and solidify their spot in the top 10 as they take on the second bottom Tigers on the ladder. Richmond have been under the scrutiny under Adabuse after a third season at the helm and just 2 wins so far throughout their season. Can the Tigers show some improvement against the Western Bulldogs, who only just got past the Gold Coast Suns last week? Or will the Bulldogs continue to be in this grapple to feature in September? Great to have your company on ABC Sport. Matt Clinch to call the action. Tom Liberatore returns for the Western Bulldogs after being a late out last week. Lockie McNeil makes way, while for the Tigers there is 4 changes with Ross, Trainer, Swansea and Piker coming in. There's no late changes for either side. Lauren Borden to call the action alongside me. Welcome to you, Loz.
Hello, Clinchy. Nice to be here. You mentioned a bit of improvement that you're looking for from Richmond. I feel the same about that. I've seen them consecutive weeks and just haven't been impressed from some of the effort that they've put out there. They've only won 2 games this season, which isn't an improvement on last year when they won 5. And then, as you mentioned, the Western Bulldogs for Luke Beveridge, you mentioned it during the week that you can't really win it from the wild card position, so they're really gunning for a spot in the top 6, and they'll be looking for a little bit of a percentage boost given, if they win, then they'll be sitting alongside the likes of Melbourne if they win tonight.
As you said, for Richmond, it's been a frustrating season. Just the 2 wins. They haven't won in 2 months, and they don't particularly love coming to Dockland. So that'll be the other challenge tonight. And can the Bulldogs be ruthless and try and put on a big margin tonight and maybe boost their percentage? Our back row is stacked once more. The St Kilda Hall of Famer Nathan Burke is alongside you. Welcome, Burkey.
Hello, Clinchy. Hello, Loz. Yes, looking forward to this one. Look, I'm going to go on a limb here and say the Bulldogs are probably going to win, but in terms of ladder positioning, this is a really, really important game. So they're sitting currently level with Geelong, 2 points behind Collingwood, a game behind Melbourne and Adelaide and Brisbane. So this game is really important ladder-wise, but really important is the percentage. They're well behind. If you look at the Geelong, 116 to 93, so 13 behind. They need to win, and they need to win big. So I'd expect the Bulldogs tonight to come out fast and furious.
And alongside Berkey tonight, former Eagle and Swan, he's putting in a double shift, and he saw the Tigers last week, so his feedback might be sharp tonight. Cal Sinclair, welcome to you.
No, I'm going to back myself in. Essendon beat the Giants last week, and everyone would have laughed at anyone who tipped Essendon. So, like I said to Berkey, they've got to win at some point. So why not? Why can't it be an upset today against the Doggies? But I'll eat humble pie. Last week I was way off.
Just 70 points off?
Correct. I was. It probably should have been worse, Loz.
I agree with that in the last quarter, but that's because Hawthorn took their foot off the pedal. I don't think you can really say that's because of Richmond kicking a couple of consecutive goals in that last quarter. They took the opportunities that were there for them.
I completely agree, Loz. And Berkey made the point that you'd be a little bit disappointed if you were Sam Mitchell after that game last week against the Hawks. But either way, look, it'd be interesting. I saw Sam Layla. I never pronounced that name. Sam Lawler doing a lot of midfield reps, so it'd be good to see him doing a lot more midfield time, hopefully. But there's one concern out there for the Richmond Tigers, and that's Marcus Bontempelli, who's probably looking at being a runner-up this year with the Brownlow. I think everyone's tipping Nick Dacos, but he's been in superstar form. I'm curious if someone's going to go to him tonight. I'm really sick and tired of seeing the best players in the competition not get tagged, not get manned up, and just been able to just run around and do whatever they want. So I'm a big Bont fan and looking forward to watching him very closely this evening.
You've let us in beautifully, Cal. So 5 rounds remaining. Everyone's waiting for the Bulldogs to try and step up and take that next step. And yet they have a midfield that features Marcus Bontempelli, Ed Richards. Tim English has been in some injury issues, and unfortunately the injury to Bailey Dale. And yet it feels like the excuses are starting to run out. For Luke Beveridge, we know Sam Darcy's been out for the majority of the season, but can they make a fight and climb their way up the ladder, or are they just going to scrape in and in the same predicament their fans have been in for the last couple of years?
Well, I've got the AFL record here, and I'm looking at all the statistics from Champion Data. And to be honest, the Bulldogs are nowhere really near it in the top 6 in any sort of key statistic going around. So even contested possession differential, they're at bottom 4. Uncontested possession differential, they're bottom 4. So, contested possession's a massive part of their game, and you think their midfield's good enough with like Bontempelli, Richards and Liberatore, who are all stars of the competition. You'd think that they'd probably be performing a little bit better than being a bottom 4 team, Berkey.
Tim English is really important. When he plays well, the Bulldogs tend to have one of their really, really good games. Probably hasn't had a great month.
No.
He was injured, missed a game, came back in. He really needs to step up tonight and dominate this game and give those guys first use. And so I'm looking forward to him. The other one is their backline is still a little bit shaky.
It's short as well.
It is short. The good thing about playing against the Tigers tonight, obviously you got Lynch up there, but there's no one really else that's tall that should cause them any form of issues. So everything points towards a big win from the Bulldogs. But the Tigers, we saw them last week. They give up far too many uncontested possessions to the opposition. So what I'm looking for tonight is for them to shorten the leg rope, get closer to their opponents and make this a little bit more of a scrap rather than just all zoning back and let's get in front of Norton and not let him take marks. I want to see Richmond actually take this game on and get closer to their opponents.
Tim English had 20 disposals last week against the Gold Coast Suns. That's the first time he's done so since round 1. And Marcus Bontempelli loves playing against the Tigers. He averages 30 disposals and 2 goals in the last 3 times these two sides have faced off. Do we judge the Bulldogs, in your opinion, Berkey, too harshly? I mean, Cody Waitman's been out for the majority of the season. He plays his 6th game tonight. They're 5 wins and 6 losses against the top 10. And yet against the bottom 8, they're 6 wins and 1 loss. So Carlton is the only side they've lost to in the bottom brigade. So on paper, they should be able to comfortably account for the Tigers. And yet, it's just that curiosity. Are they vulnerable to a slip-up at some stage?
The issue for me for the Western Bulldogs, and I reckon it's been an issue for the last 3-4 years at least, is the bottom 6 players. They've got a very, very good top end, and we all look at the top end and say, why aren't they up there with the top teams? The contribution sometimes from that bottom 6 is not what it should be. You look at the bottom 6 of a Geelong, and I think the difference with Collingwood probably don't have the top end of Western Bulldogs have, but their bottom 6 are contributing over the last month at a good high level. Look at Ed Allen and Ned Long and these sort of guys that most people wouldn't know, but contributing at a high level. And the Western Bulldogs, to me, the gap between the Bontempellis and those guys is too big.
And you'd think with Tasmania coming in a couple of years, if 2 of those older brigade move on, is there enough sort of there kind of coming through for the Bulldogs? I'm not actually quite sure, but I remember watching the Tigers last week, and I hadn't watched a lot of Richmond this year, and I was actually quite disappointed with kind of what I saw and how they played. It looked like Adam Musa is coaching a system when he should be actually coaching contests. So tonight for the Tigers, I want to see a more physical, aggression, play the Western Bulldogs in a bit of a shoebox, play a contest game, and then the system sort of takes care of itself after that.
You've touched on it beautifully, Cal. So they lost by 70-odd points against Hawthorn last week. They've lost their last 7 games. So their last win was against the Bombers back in round 11. And the record now for Adam Uze is starting to look quite damning. So after 5 wins last season, just the 2 this season, and his coaching record at 9 wins and 55 losses is actually the worst coaching record by any coach after 64 games. So Richmond fans coming along tonight, they want to see pressure, they want to see work rate, and they want to see the ability to see a game style they're trying to build on.
I think you've got to keep it pretty simple. Maybe say to this young group, let's just come in and win the tackle count. I don't know, something like that is just keeping it really simple for this group. But last week, I thought defensively, Berkey, they were just sort of stuck in between. They didn't know whether to actually come forward and make a contest or fold back. And teams like Hawthorn just completely cut them up by foot.
And the one thing about the Western Bulldogs is they are a skillful team. They will cut you up with their feet if you start guarding grass.
And the Dogs particularly have been good under the roof so far this season. Matt Clinch and Lauren Borden to call the action. Cal Sinclair and Nathan Burke are your experts. The Dogs are also celebrating the club's Cultural Heritage Series game tonight. Ian Cohen's on the boundary for us tonight. Koza, they had all sorts of festivities taking place before the game.
They certainly did, Clinchy. Good evening to you and good evening, everyone. You're quite right. There was a number of different acts from different parts of the world, and it was fantastic to see. Toby Nankervis was the man that won the toss. He will kick to the left-hand end of your ABC app. There has been no late changes. Both of the teams are in their traditional outfit. The Tigers have got the white shorts and the Bulldogs have got the blue shorts on. And, of course, Tom Liberatore is going to be a big change in there. I don't think we're going to set any crowd records tonight, Clinchy, but the Tiger Army has certainly turned out and they're in good form. They believe there's hope.
That's what's to come. So can the Western Bulldogs look to make it 3 on the bounce? And can the Tigers show some fight? Here's Lauren Borden on ABC Sport.
It's Nankervis who just tries to soccer it out of the middle, straight to that man in Tom Liberatore. Gets a little hand pass out, and it works for Sanders in the hands of the Western Bulldogs. His hand pass hits Bailey Williams, who takes it. Hand passes it across to Bramble, who's running along the broadcast wing of the ground. He can pop it to the top of the 50 for the Western Bulldogs. No mark can be taken. Kennedy can take it at the drop and just poke it into the right forward pocket. It bounces once, and Anand can collect. Hand pass it across to Traynor, hand pass it to Boston, and it's the Tigers that connects it out of defensive 50. Hand pass to Sonzi, he puts it long down the wing, hot and flew, couldn't take the mark, and then he's part of the tacklers that lay it on Bailey Williams. He's taken to the turf. It'll be a ball up, broadcast side of the ground in front of the benches. No score yet in the early stages of this round 20 match.
English wins the tap. Bontempelli, who didn't have anyone alongside him at the last stoppage. Prestia gets down low, takes it back for the Tigers. Hand pass away to Taranto, kicks end over end up towards Houghton. Hand pass to Ross, kicks inside 50. Awkward bouncing ball for Buku Karmas. It's Selwood's challenge to try and deal with as he's tackled and brought down. And the umpire will ball it up 40 metres out from the Tigers' goal. Nankervis gets there late, wins the tap against English. Taranto threw his arms back. It's going to be a free kick for a hold. Umpire said it's going the way of Tim Taranto. He has it inside 50, out to the left.
Been kicking a few goals lately, so early on, fresh legs. This is not beyond him.
11 goals, 13 so far this season. Berkey for probably the best of the Richmond players so far this season. And 27 disposals, 5 clearances. And a behind last week against Hawthorn with his 8 tackles. And for many Richmond fans, they feel like he could be the next Tigers captain. As Tim Taranto looks to try and give them the perfect start. He won't quite have the journey to the goal line. There was a big fly from behind from Houghton and off hands. It goes out of play. The first score of the night is a behind. Richmond are on the board through 2 minutes.
Riley Sanders channeling his inner Scott Cummings with the glove. You're a glove guy? I remember you wore a glove for a while.
I had a broken thumb in round 2, so I kept playing, so wore a glove.
Yeah.
Just one.
For the season or for...
For the season, but...
Good memory.
It's a great memory for me.
Rather than actually get it fixed.
Who was a glove guy at the Saints? Was there any glove guys at the Saints?
Jamie Shanahan was a glove man.
Yeah.
Tigers have worked it out to centre wing. Ball goes out of bounds and we'll have a throw in. English and Nankervis run forward to meet a bit of a shallow throw in. Nankervis takes it, hand passes it across to Sonzi, back in the side. So is Liberatore, wraps him up, and Libba wins it, holding the footy against Sonzi.
Maybe for our listeners out there, text in random players who wore gloves back in the day. I'd be very curious to see who we can come up with.
Travis Cloak's the first one that comes
Travis
to mind.
Cloak. Yes. Quinton Lynch is another one.
Yes.
So Liberatore puts it down looking for Ed Richards. Tapped over the line for a lasso free.
Ed Richards. Played a chopping of the arms.
Oh, chopping of the arms against Ross. As Liberatore gets a flat kick inside forward 50. Norton tried to grab it, falls down to Artie Jones. His hand pass chopped off by Anand. Hand passes it straight to Prestia, gets driven into the turf. Sanders then does the tackling as well to wrap the footy up inside forward 50 after wrapping up Banks. And it'll be a ball up about 30 metres away from attacking goal for the Dogs.
English rises early, but Nankervis does the clearing work. The kick is smothered. Swansea trying to knock it out. Sanders comes in from the side and lays the tackle. The umpire will ball it up just 15 metres out from the Western Bulldogs goals. Saturday footy on ABC Sport. Nankervis bounces into English, tries to win down the tap, and in the end has to do his own roving. Tackled by Norton as he squeezes a kick into the middle of the ground. Mansell didn't get it first time, now gets a hand pass away to Ross. Through the middle of the ground go the Tigers. Hand pass to Lawler. Opens up play to Tom Brown. He looks up. Lafau running towards the teeth of goal, and McKelty Lafau takes the mark. As Bustlinger was trying to keep up with him, he was out the back, Lafau, and he hugged it to his chest.
That passage of play and transition from defence, if that was Richmond last week, they would have bombed that to the spare where had Buchan Karmas is sitting there. But to their credit, they worked it up by hands, and their forwards, I tell you what, they worked very, very hard back, and you were just a little bit nervous with what they were going to do with ball in hand. But either way, it paid off.
Lafau from directly in front puts through the opening goal of the night, the way of the Tigers. It comes 4.5 minutes in, and Richmond have the only two scores of the match. 1-1-7 to the Western Bulldogs, yet to score. And Kelty Lafau leads the way for the Tigers this season with 17 goals, 6, which is the equal fewest goals scored for the Tigers by this stage of the season since 1999. So 27 years ago.
I think he's been a pretty handy addition. Like, he's been a serviceable player. I thought last week in an average result for Richmond, he actually played quite well and really put a fair bit of effort in. He's probably the player they need for this young group. Someone, physical, mature, a bit more big-bodied, and it's good that he hit the scoreboard.
Jack Ross standing alongside Marcus Bontempelli right in the centre of Dockland Stadium. The umpire tosses it up. Nankervis rises high. It's a little tap out to Taranto, who tried to tap it towards Ross. In the end, he pushed it along the ground on his hands and knees. Picked up by Sanders of the Western Bulldogs. Hand passes it to Richards. Puts the kick in the left forward pocket. Norton needs to run onto it. Taps it cleverly to Waitman, who gets rid of his opponent. Hand passes it to Bontempelli. Hand pass back to Norton on the left. Beautiful finish from Aaron Norton. The Western Bulldogs get a quick reply. And Richmond's lead is just cut back to 1 behind. It means this is the 30th consecutive game that Aaron Norton has scored at least a goal in it. Richmond ahead by 1 point, very early stages of this match. 1-1-7 the Tigers, the Doggies, with their first goal through Aaron Norton. 1 straight 6 minutes played in the first.
The Western Bulldogs at centre bounces are trying to be very, very tricky. They've got Hines lining up on the wing, and let's see if he does it again. But every centre bounce so far, he starts right at the defensive corner of the centre square, and as soon as the ball gets thrown up, he shoots directly straight into the back line. And the highest Western Bulldogs defender shoots straight into the middle, leaving the Richmond player completely on the wing all by himself.
He does just that, as Berkey described, in the middle of the ground.
That's his player right there.
Yeah, Ross gets a hand pass out. Prestia cuts around a couple of tacklers, including Fraser, long to the goal square. Buchan Karmas trying to go back with a flight. Hines is now tackled. Tom Lynch got him. Ball spills clear. Caulfield is brought down. And Richmond have it locked inside their forward 50, just 20 metres out from goal.
Is that a bit arrogant?
I'm struggling to see the benefit of it at this point.
Waste of energy.
Yeah, it's...
Tap comes down the way of Prestia, trying to break away from Marcus Bontempelli, dodging and weaving. He loses possession. It goes out of play in the left forward pocket. It's almost sort of conceding that their back line has some issues.
Yeah, just getting an extra player straight from the bounce and leaving a player on the wing, and that time it burnt them because the spare winger ended up kicking it inside 50.
So you'd imagine the plan is to try and get Buchan Karmas free, and yet he's alongside Lafau at the moment.
But I think if you had issues with their defence, they wouldn't have someone bursting off centre-half back. So I can't get my head around that either, Berkey.
Maybe they feel like they'll win the clearances, and yet Richmond have been up for that challenge. Richards squeezes a kick out of the congestion. Taken in the end by Caulfield. Gets the hand pass to Fraser, sends it up the wing. Richmond re-emerge with the footy, taken by Tyler Swansea, kicks inside 50. And then from the side, the mark is taken by Michael Selwood. And a chance for the Dogs to move it from half back. Richmond by a point as Bontempelli takes the mark.
He chooses to kick it back into the defensive 50, able to find O'Donnell, who can switch it across to the city side wing, finding Karmas. Just stubs the kick forward, and Caulfield's on the lead, marks. Still 50 metres out from defensive goal. He kicks it further down the wing and finds Fraser, who wants to move the footy inboard. It's not the best kick of all time. It makes it hard for Selwood. It was Mansell coming in, putting on the pressure, and then he puts the tackle on as well and stops the footy in the centre of Dockland Stadium for a ball up.
Really well done by Mansell. He read the kick coming in, made a contest, and best he could do was halve it for a ball up.
provided a bit of spark since coming back from that fractured wrist a couple of weeks ago. As the ball's tossed up, Sonzi takes it, skies the footy, almost hits the roof as it hits the top of the attacking 50. Sanders is there to clean it up though and hand pass it away to Buslinger, who puts the footy down to centre wing to Waitman, who was infringed upon and fallen on top of as well. He takes it and then hand passes it across to Sanders, who moves it on quickly to Kennedy, standing in some space at right half forward, just stabs the pass forward to Dolan, who couldn't take the mark, lost and hot on his heels, wins the footy. He's taken over the line for a throw-in. Half forward for the Western Bulldogs, kicking towards the Coventry end in this first quarter. Richmond ahead by 1 point, 9 minutes played in the opening term.
If you want to get in touch with us throughout the night, 0437 774 774. Cal Sinclair wants to know, which players can you remember wearing famously the glove? Nankervis wins down the tap for the Tigers, but it's sharked by Ed Richards. Sends the Dogs inside 50. Broad attacked it. Chest out. Can't keep it in play as his hand pass to Swansea goes over the boundary line.
Michael Jackson? Wearing gloves?
Yeah.
Oh, the stage and show.
Oh, the actual Michael Jackson. Oh, sorry. I thought there was... I was trying to think.
Would have been a speedy winger, I reckon. Not really in and under. More of an outside player.
Nankervis got it down to Swansea. Hand pass over his shoulder. He heard the voice. The kick from Jaden Short up towards the wing. Tom Lynch can't march. Spills out. Richmond have the numbers and a free kick going the way of Sam Grill on the bottom of the pack, taken high. As on the left half back. Richmond leading by a point. Goals through Lafau and Norton to start proceedings. Sends it out to Dion Prestia. In his 16th year. The three-time premiership Tiger. As Prestia veers out to the right. Sends it as long as he can up the wing. Lynch is the target. Crashing into Buku Kamas. Can't complete the mark. Liberatore's hand pass to Fraser. To Buslinger. Back to Libba. To Bontempelli across half back. And now Buslinger looks to switch to the outer side. Sends it out to Norton, who juggles the mark.
Norton's got it just backwards of centre wing. Wheels around and puts it on his left boot. Close to the boundary line. Kennedy marks. And then standing the mark. And Kennedy kicks over him and into the left forward pocket for the Doggies. Lob standing there. Easily moved coming off the footy. And marks for the Western Bulldogs.
It really good kick in then, because he recognised the height mismatch with Rory Lobb and his opponent, so put it to Rory's advantage and he didn't let him down. So there wasn't a lot of space, so you've got to actually give your teammate the best advantage that they can. So that was kicking it in the air.
Left forward pocket, Rory Lobb is offline to the near side. And that's the Western Bulldogs' first minor score for the evening. It draws scores level here at Docklands. 11.5 minutes played in the first term. It's Saturday night footy on ABC Sport.
As the Tigers clearing kick is almost a turnover. Crashing into the turf was Hines in the end. Got on the back of Swansea. Norton takes it back. Out pass to Hines. Tackled by Tom Brown holding the ball. Richmond win it back in the back pocket. Just one possession too many in the end. Tom Brown will take the free kick for the Tigers in the left back pocket. Kicks out to Jaden Short. Scores level, 1-1-7 apiece. Sends the Tigers up the wing. Floston takes the mark in front of Fraser. Richmond's number one turns and comes inboard. Spots up Sam Grill. Has it between wing and half back for the Tigers. So Lynch and Lafau, the two deepest targets. Sends it in that direction with Seth Campbell at the feet. Lynch in front. Towering mark. Just held his position in front of O'Donnell. And having ticked off that career milestone last week, maybe that's released a bit of the pressure on Tom Lynch with a 500 career goal having been achieved. He'll go back out to the left, shoot from right on 50.
Probably good that his first shot at goal is going to be kicking from around about 52. Takes away the pressure of that 30-metre kick, which, to be honest, could go anywhere.
9 disposals, 1-1 last week against the Hawks, so trying to have more of an impact for this Richmond side. He starts out to the right, beautifully strikes it and carries the journey comfortably. The Tigers with 2 of the first 3 goals of the match to take back the lead by 6 points. They're 2-1-13 to the Bulldogs 1-1-7. Ahead of Berkey and Cal Sinclair and Cohen on the boundary.
Well, we might be at a Bulldogs home game, but the Tiger Army are now really starting to believe. They're up and off their plastic after a couple of goals. And speaking of gloves, we're at a Tigers match. I reckon Richo wore one, and I reckon Adam Uze wore one as well.
It's a good shout, Coes at Rodney in Bay 6. He reckons he's 6 rows behind you. Had Richo, Tony Campbell, Adam Uze and Brett Evans as his nominees for players who wore the glove.
And Gary Ablett Senior.
Yes.
Had the glove there for a while, particularly in the 94-95 seasons.
Neil from Coburg on the SMS 0437 774 774 said, did Don Scott try them? Did you see any of his career, Berkey?
Settle down. Stu in the back of the box.
Back in the middle, Bontempelli with a kick inside forward 50 for the Western Bulldogs. Norton got a hand to it, punched it away. It'll be a throw it inside the forward arc for the Doggies. Richmond ahead by 6 points.
Who was the Melbourne defender?
Tony Campbell.
Yes.
Yep.
He was one of the first, I think.
Yep.
The Western Bulldogs attack. The ball gets tossed in. Artie Jones chasing after it, collects it. Hand passes it out to West. He's outside attacking 50 now. Gets taken to the turf by Boston. No free kick, but Lawler will pick it up. Hand pass it across to Brown. He can kick it to Sonzi in the hands of the Tigers. Sonzi hand passes back towards Banks, and then he kicks it to Sonzi, who marks right in front of the Richmond interchange gate.
This is far better from the Tigers than last week. They're actually putting pressure on the ball carrier.
He thumps it right down to left half forward. To no one really in particular. Nick Caulfield was there, easily able to mop up the footy for the Dogs. Chips backwards to O'Donnell, and he flares it to the outer side of the ground. The mark's taken by Croft. Croft goes with a long kick right down the outer wing. English will take the mark. Hand pass it across to Bontempelli, who's going for a run down the wing. A little kick will find Dolan right at left half forward for the Doggies. Kicks it inside forward 50. Kennedy marks, almost goes to play on. But he'll go back and have his shot from the left forward pocket at a similar spot to where Rory Lobb had a kick at goal a couple of minutes ago.
I watched the forward movement of Kennedy and Norton. They split the defender. I think it's Annan beautifully. Norton could have been very selfish and just let up there, but he just got the defender caught in two minds, and it freed up Kennedy just to be spot up, basically uncontested.
Coming off 3 goals against Gold Coast last week. Puts this one towards the sticks and hits the right goalpost. It's left shaking. Richmond's lead cut back to 5 points, 15 minutes played in the first.
So the Tigers look to bring the ball back into play. Tom Brown into the back pocket for Jaden Short. He waits for the Leeds to present. Centres it in the end. So coming, that kick a little loose for Ross. Now Kennedy tries to knock it on to Dolan. The Dogs take it back. Fraser has to get it over the top of Lawson. Knocked it down to Richards. Hand pass to Liberatore. Kicks towards the goal square. Riley West back with a flight. Takes the mark just 12 metres out. Directly in front.
Well, the kick wasn't that bad coming out of defence for the Tigers. It was just a Tiger player just dropped the mark and put it down, and the Bulldogs will make you pay if you're sloppy with your skills.
And Riley West looking to put the Bulldogs in front as he comes in from 15 metres out, and he sends it up to the second tier. West puts through his 14th goal of the season. It's been an interesting season for him, goalless in his first 6 games after opening round, then kicked goals in the next 7. And has struggled in recent weeks to really have the same impact he has in previous seasons after last year kicking 39 goals in season 2025 to be the 3rd leading goal kicker for the Bulldogs. The Bulldogs by a point, 2-2-14 to the Tigers, 2-1-13. Cal Sinclair and Nathan Burke with you on ABC Sport.
It's a good start, 39 goals last year, particularly in that high half-forward role. He's get a few more midfield minute times this year, but you are right, Clinchy. West has been under the pump, but they do pursue with him, don't they? They don't. They've never sent him back to the VFL, not to my knowledge anyway. He's probably had some form that's warranted it, but either way, yeah.
I'd like to see him get more in the middle.
The Doggies take the lead for the first time today. Tossed up, Bailey Williams tries to gather it, can't take clean possession. Fraser's there to pick it up and hand pass it to Ed Richards. We'll put another ball inside 50 for the Dogs. Lob, front position, 2 hands, brought the ball to ground. West is lurking, picks it up, hand passes it to Lob, hand pass to Liberatore, taken in a tackle, still gets a hand pass out behind him, but it's picked up by Campbell of the Tigers. Hand passes it out to Grill and he can chip it out to Piker. Marking it left half back for Richmond and able to just slow things down. Just his 2nd game of AFL footy. Piker puts it right down the wing towards Short, who puts a footy to the top of the 50. It sat up in the air for a while. English comes in, takes it for the Dogs, hand passes it away. Mansell's there to rove it though, picks it up. He loses possession of the footy, and then it's taken by Williams. Hand passes it to Karmas, and he can put a long ball right down the wing to a pack that'll form. And Broad was sitting there marked for the Tigers.
He wants to try and move it quickly because Jaden Short's free on the wing, sends it up in that direction. The Bulldogs by a point. 2-2-14 to Richmond 2-1-13. Matt Clinch and Lauren Borden calling the action, and going down the boundary. Cal Sinclair and Nathan Burke with you for Saturday Night Footy on ABC Sport. Boston in the middle of the ground for Broad. Chips it over the top. Dion Prestia has it, but has just about everyone on the field in front of him. So they haven't really moved this all that quickly, and it's allowed the Bulldogs to park the bus. Out wide to the broadcast wing. Boston takes the mark. He's got no real other option but to chip it inboard to Broad. So if you're not going to run at the opponent, and it makes it hard, your skills are going to have to be on song. And so Broad's just going to kick it laterally.
This is like soccer.
It is.
This is like the World Cup.
And then Brown turns it over. So this is what the Bulldogs are waiting for.
Make him pay. Got to make them pay.
Takes the intercepting mark. Kicks out in front of Eddie Jones. 3 Tigers chasing him. Jones at full tilt. Can't curl it back. Misses to the right-hand side. A minor score. That was the fast break, wasn't it? They forced the error from the Tigers, and Artie Jones normally can't be caught, but on this occasion he couldn't finish. The Dogs by 2 points. 20 minutes gone opening term.
So Tom Brown brings it in, just chips it to the right back pocket. It's able to find Luke Traynor. Here's a pass forward of him, and Taranto holds on to it. He's getting some close opposition. Goes with an underground hand pass across to Traynor. Lob gets a fingertip to that, and that'll be just inside forward 50. We'll have a throw-in for the Western Bulldogs. So Dogs ahead by 2 points. Ball inside their forward 50. Western Bulldogs home game at Docklands tonight. Tossed in. Nankervis and English in the ruck. English gets the tap out. Ricochets back to Nankervis, who can't really get any clean position. Richards will pick it up for the Western Bulldogs. Hand passes into some space. Short's there to collect. He gets taken in a tackle by Dolan, held on to. And we'll have a ball up inside forward 50 for the Western Bulldogs. Ahead by 2 points. We've ticked into time on in this Saturday night clash at Docklands.
Thrown up. English wins down the tap. Riley West has to become the tackler and locks the ball in the left forward pocket for the Bulldogs. Ralph Smith gives the ball back to the umpire, and he throws it aloft once more. Nankervis wins it down. Waitman on the move. And all of a sudden it's become a stoppage game as the Dogs have it trapped inside their forward 50. Third stoppage in quick succession. Nankervis wins down the tap. Liberatore gets it out to Fraser, to Richards. Feeds it back to the 50. Bailey Williams gets the hand pass away. Croft out to the left. Eyes the goals and misses to the left-hand side. And a minor score. The Bulldogs lead by 3 points. The Tigers have won one of their last 13 games here at Docklands.
Getting correspondence coming from England about gloves. Clinchy.
Yes.
Warren Treadray.
Yes. Great shout.
Should have got that one earlier.
Yeah, that's an obvious one, isn't it? It's always obvious when it comes up. As Richmond still stuck with the footy inside their defensive 50. Brown brought it into Taranto. He puts plenty on this kick. It's a bit of a flat one, but it finds Lawler, who marks. You might be able to hear the crowd's desperate for 50 as Caulfield just held on to Lawler a little longer than normal. Back edge of the square. Lawler puts it close to the boundary and can find Lynch. They're still a long way from home for Richmond. Goal number 500 in the last quarter last week. Takes his kick and goes inboard, and he finds Tom Brown. He's sitting at about centre wing.
They've just got to get it in there. These days, it's so easy to get a free kick as a tall forward. Just bang it in there.
Well, Brown just puts it into a forward 50 contest, and in the end it gets tapped out of bounds, but at least it works out as a stoppage for them, which could work all the same for the Tigers. They're down by 3 points. They did lead in the early stages of this match after kicking the first goal through McCulty Lafau, but it's now the Dogs ahead by 3.
They're just looking to be too perfect, the Tigers.
Thrown in, Nankervis takes front position against English, tries to get it down towards Taranto. Gathered by Bramble, hand pass to Liberatore. They end up rushing through behind. So a 2 point lead the way of the Bulldogs. More of your suggestions on the SMS, 0437 774 774 for players who have worn the glove in the past. Nigel Smart from the Crows comes to mind. That's from one listener. Let us know your name so we can acknowledge where you're tuning in from.
Do you remember the controversy about the gloves too when they started to ban the sticky gloves? That was it.
I think that was Travis Cloak had the sticky one.
Yes, yep.
It was like that Velcro, wasn't it?
So Western Bulldogs are working it through their defensive 50 until the kick out comes to Fraser, who's got it right in the corridor. Hand pass to Bramble, who goes for a run. just dabs the kick forward and finds Waitman, who wants to play on quickly. He puts it inside forward 50 and turns it over.
That was a nothing kick, rushed, hardly looked, didn't even give his forwards an opportunity to come at the footy.
So Rechko easily marks for Richmond, then puts it towards Mansell, who makes a contest of it, but punches it over the boundary for a throw-in at half forward for the Western Bulldogs. There's a bit of afters as well. Mansell's having a bit of a push and shove with Bustlinger, and of course Tom Liberatore is getting involved in it all.
Thrown in English and Nankervis wrestle for front position. English from behind wins down the tap. Fraser over his head. Got it to English. Kicks it into the pocket. West down low. On the half volley, can't gather. Boston works his way to the front. Fends off West. Gets the hand pass away. Across half back. Taranto inboard to Nankervis. Now to Vlosten. Looks into the middle of the ground. And Dion Prestia has a metre or so on Bontempelli. Broad kept running, so he links the hand pass over the top. Didn't take it cleanly. Now Dolan lays the tackle. Ball spills out. Getting down low, Artie Jones would take it high. They take the advantage. Hand pass to Bailey Williams in the middle of Docklands. Takes a bounce, looks inside 50. Then Waitman is the target. Worked underneath it by Tom Brown. Racing after it, Lob. Good tackle on Trainer. Ball spills clear. Brown just gets a hand pass away to Ross. Liberatore's tackle over the shoulder. Ross ducks out of it. Hand pass away to Trainer. Links up with Taranto across half back. They're trying to hand pass their way out of defence. Ross left half back. He cuts on his right. Sends it up to LaFowl. A 1-on-2. English in from the side. Takes the mark. Supporting Caulfield, and the Bulldogs take it back.
English just chips backwards where he can find Caulfield. And again, they'll switch it through their defensive 50. Hand passes it, comes across to Bustlinger. He puts it out to left half back. And it's a good mark taken in the end. Mansell's putting on a little bit of pressure on O'Donnell. But he takes the mark back edge of the centre square. Western Bulldogs lead by 2 points. A couple of minutes left in this opening term. Kicks it out wide to Karmas. Still backwards of halfway for the Western Bulldogs. Just eases the kick forward and finds Kennedy. And then Kennedy, with a 20-metre kick forward, was looking for Artie Jones. He could find it. Oh, he tapped it down. Then Bontempelli went in, tapped it again. It's Richmond that emerges with the footy via Prestia. Hand pass to Banks, hand pass to Taranto. A little flick back to Anand, and he puts it on the boot this time, all the way back to centre wing. Dogs have the numbers, can bring it to ground, but it's Mansell who picks it up. Campbell, who picks it up for Richmond, chips it inboard, and he's able to find Ross, who marks for the Tigers. He hand passes it away to a running Prestia, who runs all the way to centre half forward, then kicks to the top of the goal square. There were three Western Bulldogs players all around Mansell, and it's tapped through by the Doggies players for a minor score. So Western Bulldogs ahead by 1 point, 26 minutes played in the opening term.
Technically, that's a free kick. You can't shepherd somebody out from the marking contest and the ball hits the ground.
Bustlinger brings the Dogs back into play, into the pocket for Caulfield, kicks up to Selwood. The Bulldogs leading by a point. Richmond have only led at quarter time on 3 occasions in 2026. They've only won 2 games of the season, so not that surprising. Nankervis can't take the mark. It spills in the middle of the ground. Down low, Prestia tries to rip it away. Liberatore wrestling at the bottom of the pack as well, and the umpire will ball it up. The Dogs 2-4-16, Richmond 2-3-15. 27 minutes gone in the opening term on ABC Sport. Lob wins down the tap to Liberatore. Didn't get much purchase on the kick. Down low, Banks gets it for the Tigers. Hand pass to Prestia, had a fresh airy. Bontempelli takes it back for the Dogs. Hand pass to Dolan around his body. Great mark, Trainer. Flying over the top of Aaron Norton, as Norton does so often to his opponents. And Luke Trainer with a confidence-building mark.
Chips it backwards towards Nathan Broad. And he's able to find Short, who just chips it outside of the attacking 50. Was looking for Grill, who couldn't take the mark. It's kept in play by Bramble, who moves it on to Liberatore. He gets nudged off the footy. Richards has a go at it. And in the end, Selwood takes it for the Dogs. Hand passes it towards Karmas, who cleverly kicks it off his boot and flies it into the forward 50 where Fraser marks. There was a bit of luck involved in that, where the Western Bulldogs will have a kick after the quarter-time siren to move ahead by 7 points.
Geez, there's a bit of luck in that, wasn't there? Just he was under a lot of pressure, and just that half volley, if he probably bent over, he would have done a hamstring. I know the exact movement that would have got him, but either way, sometimes you just get lucky, and Joel Fraser gets his chance.
Maybe a goal assist coming up for Buku Karmas, but Joel Fraser lets go of the footy from 50 metres out, and he's off to the left. So that means the halftime margin will have Western Bulldogs ahead by 2 points, 2-5-17, leading the Tigers 2-3-15. They traded blows in the opening term. It was Richmond that kicked the first goal by McKelty Lafau, and Aaron Norton got the Western Bulldogs on the board. A couple of minutes later, Tom Lynch kicked a goal for the Tigers, and then it was Riley West for the Western Bulldogs that kicked the most recent goal in that term, coming at the 16-minute mark of the first quarter. But Western Bulldogs ahead by 2 points at the first change, Clinchy.
Some of the glove wearer nominees on the SMS 0437 774 774 as asked by Cal Sinclair tonight. Ben from Perth, Guy McKenna was a glove wearer, one of the better defenders I've seen. John in Edgewater says you can buy a frame pair of Gary Ablett Senior's match-worn gloves for the bargain price of $2,695. Hey. Isaac says Mike Pike wore a glove at times for the Swans. And Gemma says Adam Goods. Of course, the legendary Adam Goods. The Bulldogs leading by 2 points here at Docklands. Earlier today, wins for the Blues by 13 points over the Gold Coast Suns. The Blues with their 9th win of the season. The Suns with their 9th loss consecutively. There were 8 lead changes throughout that match. Hawthorn by 93 points over the Bombers. Jack Gunston booted his career 600th goal. And earlier it was the Sydney Swans who defeated the Giants by 51 points. In the Battle of the Bridge, Errol Goulden led the way with 41 disposals and 7 clearances. The Doggies by 2 points here at Docklands. It's a Saturday night footy on ABC Sport.
What's loaded with fun for the whole family? ABC iView. Bring it! From the investigators and caper crew to Andy Lee's Do Not Watch This Show.
You can keep watching.
Find it all on ABC iView.
This is the 2026 AFL Premiership season with ABC Sport.
So didn't get it first time now. Gets a hand pass away to Ross. Through the middle of the ground go the Tigers. Hand pass to Lawler. Opens up play to Tom Brown. He looks up. Lafau running towards the teeth of goal. And McKelty Lafau takes the mark. Lafau from directly in front. Puts through the opening goal of the night the way of the Tigers.
Richards puts the kick in the left forward pocket. Norton needs to run onto it. Taps it cleverly to Wakeman, who gets through his opponent. Hand pass to Bontempelli. Hand pass back to Norton on the left. Beautiful finish from Aaron Norton. The Western Bulldogs get a quick reply.
Sam Brill has it between wing and half back for the Tigers. So Lynch and Lafau, the two deepest targets. Sends it in that direction with Seth Campbell at the feet. Lynch in front. Towering mark. Just held his position in front of O'Donnell. Starts out to the right. Beautifully strikes it and carries the journey comfortably. The Dogs take it back. Fraser has to get it over the top of Lawson. Knocks it down to Richards. Hand pass to Liberatore. Kicks towards the goal square. Riley West back with a flight. Takes the mark just 12 metres out. Directly in front. Riley West looking to put the Bulldogs in front. As he comes in from 15 metres out. And he sends it up to the second tier.
The AFL on ABC Sport.
On radio.
ABC Sport Digital Radio.
And ABC Listen.
The Dogs by 2 points at quarter time. 2-5-17 to Richmond 2-3-15. Matt Clinch and Lauren Borden calling the action. And Cohen down on the boundary. Cal Sinclair and Nathan Burke, your experts. So a tight tussle under the lid. But the Dogs hold a narrow advantage, Burkey.
Yeah, tight tussle. Not an inspiring tussle by any stretch. Let's be totally honest here. But what I'm liking, the difference between the Tigers last week and this week is they're not just all sitting back and allowing the Western Bulldogs to have 50 more possessions and 40 uncontested marks, which is what I've seen them do recently. Marks 32 to Western Bulldogs, 30 to the Tigers, which is not too bad. What I want to see from the Tigers is just take a few more risks. Once here in front of us, they had the ball backwards of centre. They kicked the ball long down to Tommy Lynch, who took a mark 45 metres out, went back and kicked the goal. Yet they haven't done that again since. Every time they've got the ball around the middle of the ground, they wanted to be perfect and they went backwards and forwards and backwards and forwards, backwards and forwards. Eventually get it in there. These days it is so easy to get a free kick as a key forward. The ball hits the ground, cause a ball up. Now you get an opportunity to get a stoppage goal. You've got good small players down there with Mansell and these sort of guys and Lawler that they can get inside the forward line and press to you. They can kick goals from a stoppage as well. But just going backwards and forwards, one, it's uninspiring to watch, and two, it doesn't allow you to actually score. So hopefully that is what Uze is telling them, because the Western Bulldogs are pushing back. They're giving them free ball through the middle. That has to end with an inside 50 at the moment. Inside 50s are 15-8. They've had the same amount of possessions, but almost double inside 50s from the Western Bulldogs. The Tigers should have at least 15, because that's the only way they're going to score in this game. They are chaining the ball well off the half-back line occasionally, which is a good thing to watch and see. The Western Bulldogs, to me, at the moment, they're just a little bit disjointed. I wouldn't say that they're playing their game style by any stretch yet, Cal.
No, definitely not. Personally, I'm finding the Tigers hard to watch. When they're going inside 50, they're chipping it around the arc. They're too scared to sort of take the game on and, I guess, go inside 50 with a fair bit of pace and bit of pressure. But their kicking skills are just concerning. Long down the line, they're getting intercepted completely flat out. I'll take your point, Berkey. Their contest is far better than what it was last week. And, yep, completely agree. The Dogs have a little bit clunky and patchy to start this game off.
Bulldogs by 2 points as we get the second quarter underway. Now Curvis wins down the tap to Taranto. Shark by Sanders. Gets the 1-2 with Bailey Williams. And Sanders cuts to the right with that left hand in the glove. Sends it out to Riley West. And he takes the mark right half back. Around the back, Bramble gives the hand pass to Buslinger. Sends it up the wing. Tim English runs into space. Was he over the boundary line? He was. Dion Prestia doing the boundary umpire's work with the arm outstretched, and he'll take the free kick centre wing.
Celebrated his 250th game last week and takes the footy, just thumps it on his boot. It's a long one all the way towards Tom Lynch, who had front position, brought the ball to ground. It's picked up by Buslinger, who hand passes it across to Davidson. A quick play from the Western Bulldogs. Kick gets it all the way to right half forward. West marks. And just waits for his teammates to run ahead of him. 70 metres out from goal. He'll kick it down to a contest. Norton's there. Annan can punch it away for the Tigers, and Short's there to clean up the work of his teammates and put it through the goal for a minor score. Western Bulldogs lead is out to 3 points, up behind the first score of this second term. Just a minute played. Saturday night footy on ABC Sport.
Justin Longmuir for a glove, I reckon.
Yep, that's a good shout. There's more coming through for you as well, Cal, so you might have to give us a top three before the night's out.
Brett Allison as well, the Kangaroos.
Turnover here. Vlosten trying to clean it up, though, for the Tigers. Might have been a push in the back. No, not going the way of Sam Cumming, and the umpire will ball it up at left half forward for the Dogs. Lincoln from Ringwood, Glenn Archer. That's one I feel like we should have got. And the big Quinton Lynch from the West Coast Eagles wore the glove. Taken by Cooper Hines from the stoppage. Hand pass to Bontempelli. Kicks long towards the teeth of goal. Norton can't juggle the mark. Off hands. Umpire waving play on. Everyone stopped now. Vlosten lays the tackle.
I reckon he was stiff there.
You thought he had enough of it, Berkey?
Yep, absolutely.
In fact, it was Annan who laid the tackle on Aaron Norton. Just 20 metres out from the Bulldogs' goal. English wins down the tap. Swansea gets a hand pass out to Prestia, who just tumbles the kick up the wing. Clears the foul. Bailey Williams tackled. Broke away from Mansell once but not twice. Richmond take back the ball. They run the advantage. Lafau forward to Lawler. He ran into Selwood, tackled holding the ball. So they only gained 20 metres for that free kick. And a bit being said between Selwood and Lawler as well.
Lafau, you're running forward, you're streaming inside 50, you've got one-on-one inside 50 that you try and over-invent a handball. Just get it to your key forward.
Selwood chips it to Bramble, who kicks it to English. Norton was following him over the line. So it'll be a throw-in. Nankervis just not letting English get up from his position.
I feel like we need a blue.
As English takes the free kick, kicks it inside forward 50. It just lands in Lob's lap. And he'll mark and have a set shot from about 45 metres out from goal.
I'm happy Lob took that mark, because I felt like he had the perfect arc in the last contest he had to have a real run and jump it and break a contest, and he pulled out. But that's the versatility that Lob's in the side for. Can go back and play in the ruck and play forward.
Has missed one so far this evening. This kick is offline to the right. And just a minor score. The Doggies lead is out to 4 points. We can check in with Ian Cohen on the boundary.
Well, to Berkey's point, I think Toby Nankervis is trying to start one, because he had plenty of venom in that particular tackle over the boundary with his counterpart, Tim English.
Thanks, Koza. Banks into short, and now Sam Cumming, who kicks very close to the boundary line. Banks just able to hold his body out in front and convince the boundary umpire is the right side of the line. Been called a play on as Artie Jones runs at him. High kick up the wing, lobby in from the side. Non-officiating umpire says it's going to be Western Bulldogs free kick, and Lockie Bramble is going to take it. So he's at left half forward. Done all the attacking so far in this second quarter through 4 minutes. Bramble veers out to the right, sends it long towards the teeth of goal. Rory Lobbs there in the pack. Nankervis in front, spills down the way of Ed Richards, who jags it towards goal and puts through the Western Bulldogs' third goal. Finally, someone able to finish in front of the big sticks. And the Dogs extend their lead to 10 points, 3-7-25 to Richmond 2-3-15.
Tim Taranto is adamant that it was touched. He's telling all his Tiger players not to get back to the middle. He's saying, let's have a kick in here.
So they've had the only 4 inside 50s, the Bulldogs, so far in this second quarter, as no doubt the Arc will have a look at this as the ball goes back to the middle.
Is it going up to the Arc? Is it definitely gone up there for a look?
I think they look at them all, but he was pretty adamant that he touched it.
Before it even went through, the moment it came off Richard's boot, Taranto was appealing that he touched it.
Came from behind for the smother. Nope, all clear. Tuck it up. Good one, Nankervis. He just ran straight into it.
We'll keep a watch on that this evening. As back in the middle, Prestia digs it out, hand passes it away, picked up by Cumming, and he can kick to right half forward for the Tigers. Lynch front position, held on to it for a couple of seconds, just couldn't complete the mark. Davidson picks it up for the Western Bulldogs, chips it out towards Bailey Williams, who marks. Left half back, the Dogs now ahead by double digits, 10 points their lead. Williams will put it to a pack forming at half forward, and Banks is there for the Tigers, can take it and chip it into the middle where Nankervis marks. Hand passes it away to Ross, who takes it. Hand pass to Prestia. He has it in the centre of Docklands, where he'll now take his kick and put it to left half forward. It spills into a pocket that allows Ralph Smith to pick it up, square the kick. He was looking for Cumming, got punched away from him. Still inside forward 50 for the Tigers. Richards dives in, takes it for the Doggies. Hand passes it to Libba. Hand pass to Caulfield. He gets a hand pass away. He's looking for Selwood, who manages to get a kick out of defensive 50 for the Dogs. Kennedy can't mark. Sockers it away and puts it into some space. This will work for the Western Bulldogs here as Norton can pick it up.
He has to deal with Dion Prestia. Tries to tap it back to the advantage of Kennedy. In the end, Norton goes himself. Wins the footy across halfback. Hand pass too sharp for Kennedy. Now Liberatorio was bumped into. Has had concussion issues in the past. He's slow to rise. Spills out the way of Trainer. Kept alive by Annan. Got it forward. And Grill sends the Tigers up towards half forward. Lafau flies in the pack. Spills down to the front, where Buku Karmas gets it away to Bailey Williams. Up the wing to Kennedy. Back to Bailey Williams. He takes a bounce and draws an opponent in Trainer. Hand pass away to Sanders, who cuts around Banks. Gets a hand pass forward to right half forward. Croft gives it back to Sanders. Another bounce. Gets to 50 at right half forward. Centering ball looking for Richards. Can't take the mark against Taranto. Davidson's the crummer. Snaps towards goal and he misses. Just missing the left-hand side of the left goal post. It was a good build-up from the Dogs, but couldn't finish in front of goal. The Bulldogs leading by 11 points.
It was a good kick by Sanders. Everyone was looking back to the goal square, but just pulled it back 30 metres out. Probably should have ended in the goal there from that good bit of play.
Boston kicks it to the Docks wing, and Lynch will be able to mark this one. Second bite. At right half back, Tom Lynch holding on to the footy.
I think he had second bite, but I don't think he had first bite.
And then he chips it to Sonzi, who's about 12 metres ahead of him. Sonzi goes short as well. He can find Jack Ross. A couple of metres in from the boundary line, in front of his teammates by the interchange bench. In the end, gets around Liberatore and will kick to a pack at right half forward. Mansell can get down, pick it up, try and gather it. He can't take it. It goes out of bounds. And it will be a throw-in at half forward for the Tigers. So the Doggies ahead by 11 points. The Tigers kicked 2 of the first 3 goals. And then it's the Western Bulldogs with the most recent run of 2, but just 1 in this second quarter. We've played 8 minutes, and it's the Doggies ahead by 11 points. English and Nankervis contest the ruck. It gets punched away into some space where Cumming can pick it up. Quick hand pass to Brown, who quickly puts it on his boot and will send it inside 50 for the Tigers. Prestia front position was happy to see that one go over the line for a stoppage. Inside the Tigers attack. It's the Doggies ahead by 11 points. 8 minutes have been played in this second term. Saturday afternoon footy on ABC Sport.
15 disposals for Dion Prestia. 12 for Ed Richards, 11 for Fraser, 10 for Short and for Bailey Williams. Jack Ross is alongside Marcus Bontempelli at the stoppages. Thrown back in, Nankervis wins down the tap. Sanders locked up by Prestia and Lawler, and the umpire will ball it up. It's an 11-point lead the Dogs' way. Nankervis crashes into English once more, spills out the way of Ross. Hand pass to Seth Campbell, kick is smothered by Bontempelli. It trickles out to the boundary line where Richards sees it across. Ian Cohen on the boundary.
Yeah, Sam Grill's just getting attended to. It looks like a left ankle. Both the doctor and the physio are working on it at the moment on the Tigers bench.
Trav from Queensland on the SMS, 0437 774 774. Peter Somerville from Essendon definitely wore the glove. Tribute to Riley Sanders tonight. English from behind wins down the tap, but Nankervis gathers. Hand pass too sharp for Lawler, brought down by Sanders. Bailey Williams gathers, sends a high ball up the wing. Waitman's outnumbered. 2-on-1. Broad takes the mark with support from Trainer. He's kicking on board, smothered by Artie Jones. Cleaned up in the end by Vlosten. It's the hand pass away to Trainer. Works it back to Kai Annan, who sends the Tigers up the wing, and Sonzi takes the mark.
So Tyler Sonzi with the footy just inside the interchange gates. One of 4 inclusions for Richmond coming into this match. He chips it inboard. And you can find Ross. He's back in from his own concussion concerns. Kicks it inside forward 50. Lafau rises. A couple of hands. Couldn't hold on to the mark. Mansell comes in, takes it. Gets a little hand pass away. Bailey Williams collects but has to get rid of the footy. Nankervis will bend down low and pick it up for the Tigers. Hand pass to Campbell. A little flick across to Lawler. Has to get rid of it quickly as he's being tackled. Nankervis with a crunching tackle on Davidson, who took the footy for the Western Bulldogs. And again, there's a little pushing and shoving, and Nankervis is involved in it. But it will be a toss-up inside forward 50 for the Tigers. Western Bulldogs ahead by 11.
English wins down the tap. Didn't get to Richards though. Ross over his head for Richmond. Awkward ball for Tom Brown. Gathered on the half volley. Hand pass back to Sonzi. Back to Prestia. On the wing. Sends it into the pocket. Mansell the target. Did good body work with Selwood but couldn't reel in the mark. And it goes out of play in the right forward pocket.
So even that kick there, why are we kicking to Mansell 30 metres out in the pocket? That should be top of the goal square. If I'm Tommy Lynch, I'm saying, goodness me, boys, give me an opportunity, please.
An inaccurate Dogs, 3-8-26 to the Tigers, 2-3-15. The Dogs with 1 goal, 3 to Richmond yet to score in this second quarter. From the throw-in, spills the way of Ed Richards, kicks up towards half-back. Waitman called behind, Spall down by Trainer, gathered by Bailey Williams, hand pass a little loose for Liberatore, comes crashing into Lawler, spills out the way of the Tigers. Libba works back once more, gets a kick up the wing, too high for Artie Jones, and the intercepting mark taken by Nick Vlosten of the Tigers.
He kicks it inboard, and Tom Brown will mark. Still 70 metres out from goal. Spots something he likes in the right forward pocket. He was looking for where Lynch was running to. There were 3 Dogs around him, and they're happy to work it out of the bounds for a throw-in about 10 metres from the right behind post for Richmond.
It's where the Tigers desperately need another key forward just to attract attention.
Yeah.
Tim English just goes back. He knows exactly where to stand. They need somebody else. Just even if they're not a key forward, you got to play that role and lead to the right spots.
Lynch does the ruck work and the roving himself, takes it, tries to hand pass it to Lawler. Footy got intercepted. Fraser takes it, and he's taken to the turf by Piker for another ball up. 30 metres out from goal for the Tigers. Doggies ahead by 11 points, about 12 minutes played in this second term.
And on that, Berkey, Lafau's gone behind the ball for the Dogs to try and for the Tigers to try and offer some support. Bailey Williams gets a clearing kick up towards Lafau. He and Nick Vlosten work together to switch it back to centre half back. That's where Broad takes the mark. Swings it across the half back line. Taken by Jaden Short at the back edge of the centre square. The Bulldogs by 11 points. Just the 1 goal so far in this second quarter through 13 minutes. Banks now has it at left half back. Waits for the leads to come. Sends it out into space. And the mark is taken by Rechko. Feeds it around the back to Banks, who sends it up the wing. It's close to the boundary line, and Ralph Smith can't take the mark inside it. Out of bounds on the full. Free kick the way of the Dogs.
The work across the middle of the ground from the Tigers is outstanding, and the forward pressure coming out on the Bulldogs defenders is really, really good because they're getting repeat entry, but everything is going completely wide. No chance of scoring.
Caulfield stabs the pass to Bailey Williams, who has to hand pass it back to Caulfield. His kick just goes down the wing, clears everyone, and Richards is there to collect for the Western Bulldogs. Moves it on quickly, inside forward 50, spots up Davidson and hits him on the chest. Running back towards goal, Sam Davidson clunks the mark and will have a set shot from about a 45-degree angle, 15 metres out from goal.
And that's the Bulldogs that we've come to know. When there is a turnover, the talents of guys like Bontempelli, in that case Richards, just putting the afterburners on. And Davidson, terrific reaction time. I watched him really closely, spreading really hard back to goal. Read that passage of play beautifully.
So Sam Davidson should be an easy shot for him, and he doesn't miss. Davidson kicks his 5th goal for the season for the Western Bulldogs, and his side goes up by 17 points. 4-8-32 the Dogs, the Tigers 2-3-15. 15 minutes played in the second term. It's Saturday night footy on ABC Sport. Your experts, Cal Sinclair and Nathan Burke.
And Davidson, for me, Clinchy, we've watched him a little bit in the VFL this year. Just seems to be one of those players that is far too good for that level, but when it comes up to this level, needs to take his opportunities. He's not going to play those big midfield minutes like he does in the twos, but he gets to that sort of half-forward position. Taking opportunities in front of goal in that role are absolutely crucial.
He sort of lost his spot a little bit. He was a wingman for Luke Beveridge, and now those roles have been taken, so has to try and find a way to impact on the scoreboard. The Dogs have booted the last 3 goals of the match to open up a 17-point lead. Lafau and Lobb in the ruck. It spills the way of Ross, who slaps it forward, but only as far as Bontempelli. Out of the centre square, kicks looking for Artie Jones. Broad makes the spoil. Knocked away by Banks. Out towards half-back for the Bulldogs. Bontempelli runs onto it. What a clean take. The Bont looks inside 50. Norton on the lead. Just starting to rise to the occasion, Marcus Bontempelli. A couple of involvements there, and it ends up in the hands of Aaron Norton. It gives him a thumbs up thanks to the pass.
Berkey?
I was trying to tell my players that I coach this afternoon, the difference between a good player and an average player is not what they do up here around your chest, it's what you do below your knees. And as we saw then, Bontempelli below his knees was perfect.
Aaron Norton in the left forward pocket, 40 metres out. He starts at left and it stays left. So 1 goal, 1 for Aaron Norton this afternoon. The Bulldogs leading by 18 points.
So you're just looking to recruit someone like a Marcus Bontempelli?
Yes.
In a year or two.
Play like Bont, basically.
Play like Bont.
Is your coaching strategy.
Yes. Yes. And if our salary cap goes up 15-fold.
So the Tigers brought it in, and then Bramble will get it back here from a contest at about left half forward for the Doggies. Holds on to it and then runs in from the boundary line. This one will just go to a hot spot. Plenty of players forming around it. Lafau is in there, taps it away, gets it to Vlosten. He's wrapped up immediately by West, and it'll be a ball up inside forward 50 for the Western Bulldogs.
That's what I want to see the Tigers do. Get it to there, get a ball up, and try and make something out of nothing.
Tossed up, Taranto just tries to clear the footy from a defensive 50. Bramble again is there to collect. Inside forward 50 he goes. This one chopped off by Broad, who marks and just gives the Tigers a little time to steady to get this one outside of defensive 50. Western Bulldogs ahead by 18, second term.
He was called to play on Broad, stood off his line, so kicks out to the back pocket, and Jack Ross takes the mark. So it's a little unclearer to see how Richmond want to try and move the ball. Ross long up towards Lynch and Lafau. Selwood rises in the pack, makes the spoil. Kept alive by Campbell. Hand pass to Swansea, gathers it behind his back, and then looks up towards half forward. The kick isn't a good one for Tom Lynch. And O'Donnell takes the intercepting mark. His kick on the instep was a poor one. Buslinger has to fend off the tackler. Turns it over. Lynch takes it back. Combining with Seth Campbell, but Liberatore intercepts. It's a hand pass away to Buslinger, and he does the reverse. Fends off Seth Campbell. Kicks across the face of goal. Risky ball for Croft. He also breaks the tackle. Got it back to Caulfield. In the back pocket for the Dogs. Kicks up to Dolan. And eventually they're out of jail here with a mark at right half back, and Frazier's on at the overlap.
Frazier goes for a run, puts it on his boot. He can spot up West, who marks this at right half forward. Was going at a quick pace, is able to stop himself, and then hand passes to Frazier, who's made up some ground to run alongside him. Absolutely spears the pass into Norton in the right forward pocket. And Aaron Norton will have another shot at goal. He's got one, and he's missed a couple of others.
Well, twice Richmond players wrapped up Western Bulldogs players, and we thought, that's it, they've got it. And then they let him go and let him get a handball out. And that's what happens. The ball goes zooming down the other end. But Aaron Norton's timing of his leading is good enough. Very, very good.
likes playing against Richmond too. Aaron Norton averages 2 goals 6 when he takes on the Tigers, has 1 already tonight. He can't get that second one at the moment. He just misses this one off to the right-hand side. The Doggies' lead is out to 19 points, a game high in this second term. 19 minutes played in the second. It's a Saturday night footy on ABC Sport.
Walston brings the Tigers back into play for Jaden Short, who then chips it up the wing. And Sam Cumming takes the mark. He's going to return it back to Vlostone. Has it 30 metres out from his defensive goal. Bulldogs lead by 19 points. Biggest lead of the match so far. Kick out towards Sonzi on the bounce. Has to try and knock it on to Taranto. Getting in the middle was Dolan. Hand pass to Waitman. Got a hand pass away to Croft. Links up with Dolan. Inside 50. Hand pass to Bramble. Tried to chip it towards Kennedy. In the end, the mark's going to be taken by Riley West. He was the player leading out from the goal square. Kennedy was trying to race back. And Kai Adam was the one trying to deal with 2 Bulldogs who were off the lead.
He's having a good game, Riley West. He's getting up the ground. He's taking two really great marks today. Now he's getting shots on goal. Having a really good impact.
2 goals 5 so far in this quarter for the Western Bulldogs. So Aaron Norton has 1-2. Riley West to become a multiple goal kicker from 15 out, 45-degree angle. He pokes through his second. And the Dogs have 4 unanswered goals in the match, 3 in this second quarter. And they now lead by 25 points. 5-10-40 to the Tigers, 2-3-15. On Saturday Night Footy on ABC Sport, you with Nathan Burke and Cal Sinclair.
Well, a couple of minutes ago, I was just about to remark that the disposals for both teams were the same. And in the last 2 minutes, I think the Bulldogs have jumped out around about 15-16 ahead. They're just starting to dominate and lock the ball inside their forward half. And the Tigers are very unimaginative in how they're bringing the ball out of their defensive 50. I'd like to see them get the ball from one side to the other, take a few more risks through the middle.
I mentioned for Riley West, that's his 15th goal for the season. It's also his 100th goal in his 99th game. So he ticks off that career milestone.
And Curvis palms it down to Taranto, gets it down to Campbell. He can't move the ball along cleanly to a teammate. English will pick up for the Western Bulldogs. His hand pass will be picked up by Liberatore. Hand pass to Karmas. Hand pass to Davidson in the centre of Dockland still. He kicks it out to Richards, who can hand pass it to Bailey Williams. Gets a kick away as he's being tracked. The kick's affected, though, as he's under pressure, and Short's there to intercept it for Richmond. Just chips it forward and finds Prestiera. Will kick it out to the outer wing. Was looking for Piker. Croft came over the top of him, punched the ball down. It'll stay in the hands of the Tigers, though, as Broad picks it up. Hand passes it back to Piker. He gets the cheers from some people who have come out to watch his second game. Was trying to find Campbell, and it's Bramble that picks it up and gets a shove as well. And Bramble will get the free kick for the Western Bulldogs. Chips backwards into defensive 50. Finds Karmas all alone, and again the Doggies are able to complete the switch as he kicks it across to Hines, chips it out to Fraser, and he'll kick right down the wing. Bontempelli in the end just leaves it for English, who can take it and move the ball on quickly.
Now pass back to Fraser, possession number 15 coming out for him. Waitman, the target, lunging forward, can't complete the mark. In fact, the umpire says it goes out on the full. The juggling attempt, he says, came off his boot. Now the field umpire and the boundary umpire are just going to have a chat.
Here we go.
Sort of sums up a bit of the standard of this game at various stages. It was a great desperate effort from Cody Waitman as he's got the hands on his hips.
They need 3 of them and they can't decide now they're going upstairs.
But did it come off his boot?
You've got 3 of you there. Just make a call.
So the left leg went tumbling over his head, and then the right leg did it clip the boot on the way through it. It's like it might have there. I think we've eventually reached our verdict, and it's going to be a free kick out of bounds on the full. Rather acrobatic from Cody Waitman, and then unfortunately he's conceded a free kick out on the full. And Luke Traynor is going to take it.
Oops.
I don't know if you can hear, but the box cheers is from the Dogs
He's
fans.
going to say this didn't come in.
Because they're going to get it straight
back. That wasn't out in the full. It actually didn't even go out.
Yeah, this boundary umpire here, he's all over it.
It becomes a throw-in now, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's a great rule. Is it? I don't know.
This happened with Christian Petrarca last year. Exactly the same. He kicked it out of bounds on the full from a free. I'm sure it'll be a throw-in, isn't it?
3 votes, Elborn. You're across the rules of the game. Trainer's trying to say, how about I just have another go at it, given I didn't come into the field of play.
This umpire's going to... Nope, he's going to chuck it up. Nope, over his head.
Dogs by 25 points. There's chaos under the roof.
So 2 out of bounds on the Fools means a throw in inside forward 50 for the Western Bulldogs. It gets tossed in. Taranto takes it. He's wrapped up by Richards, and this will be a ball up on the arc of the 50s. Sums up how well this game is going. Tossed up. Lawler can pick it up. Hand passes it to Prestia. Hand pass to Brown. He has it for the Tigers and just puts the pass right to the chest of Piker, who marks in the centre of Docklands. Hand passes it to Broad, who's going for a run along the outer wing. He kicks it to left half forward, but that pass is almost just meant for Buku Karmas, who marks for the Western Bulldogs, and a 50-metre penalty.
He just stepped over the mark, apparently.
The kicking in this game has been a disgrace.
It's windy.
Both sides going at 72% kicking efficiency as Karmas comes into the middle of the ground and Bramble takes the mark. And for the Dogs, who are 8th on the ladder, taking on the bottom place Tigers, that's a reflection of what could have been 5 goals 10 for the Bulldogs. As O'Donnell chips it to Buslinger on the wing, turns it, comes inboard to Lockie Bramble. The Bulldogs leading by 25 points. Buslinger plays on, gains every metre on offer. Croft flies in front and takes the mark uncontested. And that is what Jordan Croft can do. At 201 centimetres, he can be a beacon inside the forward 50 if he's allowed to get a run and a jump.
He's always been a player for me that, why haven't they sort of thrown him in the ruck? And they're probably a little bit concerned about his age, but maybe his kind of physical profile. But at times he's struggled to sort of get his hands on the ball and get in form. I just think throwing him in the midfield from time to time would be helpful, but regardless, it was a great mark.
21 years of age, Jordan Croft comes in from 30 metres out directly in front and puts through the Bulldogs' 4th goal in this second quarter. They put in the last 5 goals of the match, and they have a break now on the Tigers. The margin is 31 points. 6-10-46 to the Tigers, 2-3-15. Jordan Croft with his first goal of the game. And if we get a look on this on the replay, Berkey, have a look at the block of Marcus Bontempelli as he makes sure Kai Annan just couldn't get a run and a jump, and it allowed the easiest of marks to be taken by Jordan Croft.
Or you, Cal, you're a full forward. I don't know what they're doing.
Sorry, mate. Didn't get the question there, Clinchy. Apologies. Been a long day.
Just in terms of the Dogs forwards, I think Rory Lobb put a block in there as well. So basically 2 of the Bulldogs forwards blocked and allowed him to have an uncontested mark.
Back in the middle, it'll be English against Nankervis. Nankervis takes it. English takes him and holds on to him. So we'll have another ball up in the centre of Docklands, and Nankervis slams the footy onto the turf. He's in a mood today, Toby Nankervis, and has a little bit of a few words with Ed Richards as well. Ball tossed up. Nankervis gets a tap out towards Grill, fires off a hand pass. In the end, it's picked off by Bramble, though, of the Western Bulldogs. Skies a footy, and Ross is there to take a good Banks rather take a good mark as the ball was sitting up in the air. Banks holds on to it and chips it out to Houghton. Centre wing, outer side of the ground. They'll want to retreat and go back. And we'll find Banks again. So Banks at the edge of the centre square, takes a step forward, stutters, then goes again, puts it right down the wing, and the kick shapes up well for O'Donnell, who had front position, and intercepts it for the Western Bulldogs. So 4 goals to none in this second quarter, all the way to the Western Bulldogs. The Doggies work it back into their defensive arc as they have done. And the kick to Bontempelli is pulled up sore after this kick into the centre of the ground. Richmond's won it back here as Rechko takes it, hand passes it to Prestia, puts the kick inside forward 50. The mark will be taken by Sam Lawler. No.
Just held O'Donnell out of the contest.
So O'Donnell with the free kick for the Western Bulldogs, and we'll keep a watch on Marcus Bontempelli.
Sends it out to Caulfield, who can chip it over the top to Bramble. A run from Sanders at half-back. Looks up the wing for the Dogs, lobs the target, reels it in front of Trainer. And Rice, but couldn't get a fist involved. Lob feeds it out boundary side to Bramble, who kept running. Out past to Davidson at right half forward, tries to pull his kick looking for Richards. And getting back the intercepting mark taken by Sam Grill. So the Tigers haven't scored in this second quarter. After they booted 2 goals 3 in the opening quarter, the Bulldogs have booted 4-5. As Grill sends it up the wing. Piker surely had enough of the mark. If not, he was impeded. He'll have the free kick on the wing.
So holding on to it, waits for all the players to go around him. And then pumps his kick forward, looking for Lafau, who again was in a 2-on-1, outnumbered by the Doggies players. And Buslinger was in there first, took it, and was taken to ground for a ball up. Still just enough time on the game clock for either side to score here. If they can get a quick clearance, it's Short that takes it for Richmond. He hand passes it away to Rechko, puts the pass to half forward, but it's Bramble there again who intercepts the ball, and will have another possession for the Western Bulldogs.
Extremely unimaginative the way the Tigers move the ball forward.
And then Bramble's kick is a turnover as Brown gets in front of a contest forming at centre wing on the outer side of the ground. He gets the hurry up from the umpire. Right at centre wing, kicks it long as the siren sounds for the main break at Docklands. It is the Western Bulldogs who built a 31-point lead at half-time. Doggies up by 2 points at the end of the first quarter, and then kicked 4 goals while keeping Richmond scoreless in that second term to expand the margin to 31 points at half-time. Goal kickers for the evening so far. Riley West has 2, and then it singles all the way down the page. Jordan Croft, Ed Richards, Aaron Norton and Sam Davison with singles. For Richmond, Tom Lynch and McCulty Lafau, the same as there was in the first term. There are only 2 goal kickers for Richmond, but it is half-time at Docklands, and it is the Western Bulldogs ahead by 31 points.
As the Dogs put the foot down in that second quarter, and the Tigers held scoreless in the term. As Loz said, a 31-point lead the way of the Western Bulldogs. Shortly we'll bring you a Commonwealth Games update with Mitch Turner, but firstly the thoughts of Cal Sinclair and Nathan Burke on ABC Sport.
Mate, bit of a tough game to watch in my opinion. The kicking skills of both sides I think have been not too great from the Richmond Football Club. That hasn't been their strength, but you would have thought that I guess the Bulldogs would have had a bit more of a lead in that sort of regard, but visually they've turned the ball over so many times. Luckily they're playing the Tigers, who probably aren't capitalising on those skill errors as much as they could. But just looking at some stats here, the clearance count's getting a little bit significant, 21 to 11 overall. Richmond have only won 1 centre clearance today. Only 1 centre clearance. And I reckon that's a bit of an issue for them around just sort of their contest sort of stuff. I think Nankervis is definitely giving them some really good service and being really competitive in there. He's really trying hard to set the scene as a midfield group. And you see him today. I don't know if the Bulldogs are sort of targeting Nankervis, or Nankervis is sort of going out there trying to set the tone for his team. But he just needs a few comrades to sort of come with him, I feel. But looking at the stats, Berkey, I think Dion Presti's had 19 touches, finding a fair bit of the football. But Bramble, Williams, Ed Richards and Fraser then follow on from there. Bontempelli's always a watch for us with 11 touches. But going inside 50 for the Bulldogs, they haven't been overly clean. What they are doing, you can tell they've played a lot of football together. Clinchy, you made the point that they are blocking for one another when they're going up for marks. Aaron Norton had a couple of shots on goal that quarter. West, I thought, is actually having a really, really good game. He's hit the scoreboard a couple of times. He's getting up the ground, having an influence, particularly in the air. I thought he's really, really good in that regard. Davidson's sort of taking his opportunities in front of goal. So, as you suspect, I'm a little bit worried for the second half, guys, with Richmond coming out at half-time. It just feels like their contest work still isn't quite a focus, and they're kind of getting stuck in between, and I don't know, it's just a little bit clunky for me.
Yeah, I can't figure out exactly how they're moving the ball forward. What are they trying to do? Is it all by foot? Is it by handball? They get the ball to the middle of the ground, okay, but never once have they had somebody come flying past for a handball. They all just peel out sideways, waiting for that short pass.
And none of them lead at the ball carrier.
No,
none of their forwards lead.
So if you're a forward, you see someone come flying past for a handball, and you know that our game plan is we're going to give that handball, well, then you've already started your lead. You've interacted with your opponent, you've pushed them, created some space, and then away you go. So that's that second and third thing that's going to happen from whoever's got the ball. At the moment, it's one thing, then another thing, then another thing. No one's thinking 2 plays ahead because we don't know where the ball's going. And that's a real issue for the Tigers.
I reckon you can tell from a Richmond player when they've taken a mark and they've got to make a decision, they're also worried about making a mistake, particularly their younger players. You can tell them they're trying to look for the corridor, then they hesitate, they look again. Like, there has to be maybe an element of, I guess, Adam Simpson was great at this. He said, 80-20 rule. Everyone's got their own sort of 80-20. Like, if you 80%, if you think you can sort of hit that kick or hit that handball, you sort of take it. But everyone's got their own sort of thing. But you just feel like not many players for Richmond have that sort of skill set to sort of penetrate with their skills, kind of coming through the middle of the ground or giving a game-breaking possession, Berkey, if that makes sense.
It's basically absolving yourself of responsibility.
Yes.
I'll give it to you, now you do something with it.
Deal with
give it to Loz and let her do something with it.
And as we saw for Richmond, if you kick wide and slow, it makes it hard to score. And the Bulldogs, after a scrappy start, inaccurate in front of goal, but 6-10-46, lead the Tigers 2-3-15 by 31 points at the main break. Earlier today, it was Carlton by 13 points over the Gold Coast Suns. The Suns' 9th consecutive loss, while the Blues, with their 9th win of the season, they stay in touch with the top 10. While the Hawks had a big win over the Bombers by 93 points. Jack Gunston booted his career 600th goal in his 7 goals in the Hawks win over the Bombers. And the Sydney Swans far too strong for the Giants, prevailing by 51 points. Shortly, we'll bring you the latest from the ABC newsroom. So let's check in with Mitch Turner, who has a Commonwealth Games update.
Clinchy, plenty happening in Glasgow with plenty of Australians in action, of course. We come into this day 2 with Australia on 13 medals with 6 gold already, more than double Nigeria, who sit in second. Our netballers are out on court at the moment. The Diamonds in action against Tonga. It is the start of the third quarter. Australia 51, Tonga 20. So getting their campaign towards a 5th Commonwealth Games gold medal. Off to a flying start already in the pool. Plenty of Aussies have been in action. World record holder in the 50-metre freestyle for the men, Cam McAvoy. He finished second in his heat, but it was a fast heat. Josh Liendo from Canada pipped him, but they were 1 and 2 overall. Jamie Jack was the 3rd fastest, and another Australian, Flynn Southam, of course, he won his heat to qualify 5th overall. The women's 200-metre freestyle, a lot of eyes on that. Lani Pallister and Molly O'Callaghan both winning their heats. Inez Miller also going through in that one, finishing second behind Pallister. In the women's 100-metre backstroke, Iona Anderson won her heat and was comfortably the quickest overall, while Hannah Fredericks also won her heat and was the 3rd fastest to qualify. Ben Armbruster and Matt Temple both won their heats in the 100-metre butterfly for the men, and the women's 100-metre backstroke just about 2 minutes ago. Sienna Tui won her heat from Australia to qualify through as well. Plenty of finals in the men's, the 400 free, the 100 breaststroke, the 50-metre backstroke, and the 4x100-metre freestyle relay. In the women's, the 200-metre freestyle, as well as the 50-metre butterfly. They are all in action in the early hours of tomorrow morning. So once these heats get through, there'll be a bit of a gap. Then there'll be semi-finals and finals action overnight. So plenty more to come for the Australians. But just reiterating that netball score 52-20 the way of Australia over Tonga. Half-time, though, at Docklands, the Western Bulldogs leading Richmond by 31 points. Matt Clinch, Lauren Borden, Nathan Burke, Cal Sinclair and Ian Cohen to bring you all of the action in the second half shortly. But before that, we will bring you the latest from the ABC newsroom.
Hello, this is ABC News with David Rowlands. Outspoken Labor backbencher Ed Husic is remaining defiant after his push to debate Israel and Palestine at the party's national conference was squashed. Here's National Affairs correspondent Jane Norman.
The third day of Labor's national conference was dominated by debate about the party's foreign policy platform. Ed Husic had planned to move an amendment strengthening Labor's condemnation of Israel in the document, but party power brokers teamed up to quash any debate on the topic. In response, Mr Husic warned his colleagues the way to win back disaffected voters was to take a stand, not toe the party's line.
And they don't want to see us as robots.
Delegates endorsed Labor's Middle East policies without any amendment on the final day of the party's 50th national conference. Jane Norman, ABC News, Adelaide.
India's Education Minister Dharmendra Pradhan says he's resigned from his post after days of youth protests calling for him to quit. His resignation was a key demand of the Cockroach Junta Party, which organised mass protests in the capital New Delhi over flaws in the examination system. US President Donald Trump has told the rescheduled White House Correspondents' Dinner that he would show restraint and not deliver his original speech, which he said would have been a doozy. Emily Grimenz has more on this story from Washington.
An alleged assassination attempt on the US president disrupted the annual gala in April this year. A smaller event with tighter security is taking place today. Donald Trump has delivered a speech but says it wasn't what he'd originally prepared, where he planned to go after some of the journalists present.
Your lives were really in danger the last time for an opposite reason.
He went on to reel off some insults and make jokes, including a joke that he planned to run for a third presidential term. The dinner traditionally celebrates free speech and an independent press. Emily Gremens, ABC News, Washington.
Authorities in France are evacuating some suburbs of the southwestern city of Bordeaux because of a massive and shifting wildfire burning to its west. The prefect of the region, that includes Bordeaux, ordered the evacuation in the early hours of today, covering parts of 3 of the city's western suburbs, including its airport. It takes the total number of people told to flee wildfires in France and Spain to more than 220,000. Meanwhile, Spanish officials say a fire near Madrid is beyond the capacity of firefighters to contain after 3 fires west of the capital merged into a single blaze. 2 people have been shot by police in an incident in Queensland's far north. Officers were called to Mount Sheridan in Cairns just after 5 o'clock local time this afternoon, following reports of a man armed with knives. Police say they attempted to engage the man before he was shot by officers, and a member of the public was also shot during the incident. A Queensland ambulance spokesperson says both people have been taken to hospital. Meantime, 1 man is dead and a wounded police officer remains in hospital after a shooting incident on Brisbane's Fraser Coast. As Joshua McIntosh reports, officers were called to a domestic violence incident when a man opened fire.
A 45-year-old man armed with a rifle, wounding a 36-year-old first-year constable. The injured man was dragged to safety by a fellow officer. The wounded constable was later airlifted to the Royal Brisbane and Women's Hospital, where he had surgery. He remains in a stable condition. The 45-year-old gunman's body was later found in a shed on the property. An exclusion zone remained in place in the area for hours.
A man who allegedly raped a woman at Knife Point in Melbourne's West earlier this week has been granted bail just hours before, or had been granted bail just hours before the attack. 39-year-old Timothy Richards faced the Melbourne Magistrates Court today, charged with rape, aggravated burglary and making a threat to kill. He allegedly forced his way into a house in Hoppers Crossing on Thursday morning and threatened the resident before he raped her. Police are investigating possible links to 2 other nearby assaults. He was refused bail and will return to court in November. WA beekeepers are playing a part in protecting South Australia's almond industry. Andrew Hanlon explains.
In one of WA's largest commercial consignments of live beehives, more than 7,500 hives have been sent across the border to South Australia to support almond flower pollination. WA bees are currently free from pests and diseases like the varroa mite, a parasite that attacks European honeybees. The beehives were gathered in Donnybrook, Gingin and Esperance before being transported to South Australia.
This is ABC News.
Beneath the heat and dust lies gemstones, secrets and murder.
This is homicide.
Nothing stays buried forever. The suspenseful new crime drama, Treasure and Dirt. Streaming now on ABC iView.
Get ready for a year of Test cricket like you've never heard before.
Hits him hard and high, straight back down the ground for 6.
That's an amazing shot. 12 months, 20 Test matches. New Zealand at home over summer. The 3 most iconic overseas tours. The 150th anniversary Test under lights at the MCG. And it all begins August 13 with Australia versus Bangladesh on ABC Listen.
This is the 2026 AFL Premiership season with ABC Sport.
Bramble veers out to the right, sends it long towards the teeth of goal. Rory Lob's there in the pack. And Curtis in front, spills down the way of Ed Richards, who jacks it towards goal and puts through the Western Bulldogs' 3rd goal.
Bailey Williams, who has to hand pass it back to Caulfield. His kick just goes down the wing, clears everyone, and Richards is there to collect for the Western Bulldogs. Moves it on quickly, inside forward 50, spots up Davidson, hits him on the chest. Sam Davidson, should be an easy shot for him, and he doesn't miss.
In the middle was Dolan, half pass to Waitman, got a half pass away to Croft, links up with Dolan, inside 50, half pass to Bramble, tried to chip it towards Kennedy. In the end, the mark's going to be taken by Riley West. Riley West to become a multiple goal kicker. From 15 out, 45-degree angle, he pokes through his 2nd. Bustlinger plays on, gains every metre on offer. Croft flies in front and takes the mark uncontested. And that is what Jordan Croft can do. 21 years of age, Jordan Croft comes in from 30 metres out directly in front and puts through the Bulldogs' 4th goal in this second quarter. They've put in the last 5 goals of the match.
The AFL on ABC Sport.
On radio.
ABC Sport Digital Radio.
And ABC Listen.
Saturday night footy on ABC Sport. After a slow start, the Dogs took control in that second quarter with 4 unanswered goals to lead by 31 points at halftime. 6-10-46 to the Tigers, 2-3-15. Matt Clinch and Lauren Borton calling the action, and Cohen is down on the boundary. Cal Sinclair and Nathan Burke are your experts on ABC Sport. A shortage of sporting stories around the country and around the world today. Of course, the Commonwealth Games underway. ABC Sport will provide you updates throughout the AFL and the NRL coverage. Earlier today, a 51-point win for the Sydney Swans over the GWS Giants. So it keeps the Swans in that conversation around a top 2 finish. And in the end, they proved far too strong for the Giants. The Swans winning Derby number 33. Charlie Curnow finished with 4 goals. Eric Goulden had 41 disposals, 8 inside 57 score involvements, and over 1,000 metres. He wins the Kirk Ward medal for the best on ground for the 4th time. Only Luke Parker has won it on more occasions. In the other match, it was Jack Gunston who put in his career 600th goal in his 7 goals in the Hawks' 93-point win over the Bombers. 19-18, 132 to the Bombers' 9-5-59. Jarman Impey with a career-high 37 disposals, while Carlton returned to the winners list with a 13-point win over the Gold Coast Suns. 16-14, 110 to the Suns' 15-7, 97. An equal career-high 3 goals to Taylor Byrne, alongside Hayward and Hewitt for the Blues, while Ben King booted 3 goals alongside Jeffrey and Humphrey. Jagger Smith got the 3 votes in the ABC Footballer of the Year for his 31 disposals. He is, of course, the favourite for the Rising Star. Well, the storylines of the day catch your attention, Cal. The Blues try and stay in touch for that wildcard spot, but the Suns now with a 9th consecutive loss, and Damien Hardwick, the one who was picked to bring success, glory to the Suns, having featured in finals last year. Now they look such a long way off it.
You know what? That's very topical, because I just looked on the screen just then at some pretty key vision, and it was of Christian Petrarca completely berating a younger player. For
Leo Lombard.
I think I'm not quite sure what the effort was, but in terms of leadership and I guess how to sort of carry yourself in I guess a time of crisis for the Gold Coast Suns, Berkey, like, it was a bad look. Like, it's been highlighted on Fox Footy. He just went off and off at him. But in terms of where the Suns are at, like, you'd be kind of thinking at the start of the year they're sort of top 4 action. Like, you'd think they'd probably get to a prelim with the list they've got. But I just sort of wonder with the Took Miller being taken away as captain. And I've actually thought this for a long time. And then putting Noah Anderson, and it's not a criticism of Noah Anderson, but taking away Took Miller, who's a spiritual leader of that sort of team for now, and putting in a young captain who's got a lot of responsibility and a lot of expectation going into a season where you're probably wanting to be top 4. I reckon they've probably been the disappointment of the season, but I reckon they're in crisis mode.
It's only going to get worse if they lose Ben King and potentially Bailey Humphrey goes out as well. It's like,
and Rowell out in 12 months as well, out of contract.
Are they rebuilding again? Was this their little tiny window that they peeked through, and then they've got to go on? We've got to sort of rebuild again. So that's the worry for me. But to not even make the top 10, we've expanded the finals. And they probably won't, because they're sitting amongst about 4 or 5 other teams all on the same amount of points.
It's been a disaster for them the last couple of months. Absolute disaster. And they've lowered their colours, and I think Christian Petrarca lowered his colours in the footage that I've just seen there.
Unfortunately, that vision is going to be shown on high rotation over the next 24 hours, and there's going to be a lot of conversations around the culture of the Suns. The other big winners, I mean, the Hawks, if they throw in Ben King into that forward line, it's going to be a scary proposition. This is a side that's 2 points behind the Sydney Swans, are in second spot on the ladder. So they were big winners over the Bombers this afternoon, who had their first win under Dean Solomon last week. But it's a challenge to try and back that up against the side who's in the top 4.
It is. I was thinking about Jack Gunston on the way in. So he kicked 7 goals today. So when he went up to Queensland, he couldn't really get a game there, couldn't really break in. You could very easily look at him and go, you know what, we've seen the best of him. But they managed to get him back. I can't think of a player who's probably surprised a team more. No, I guarantee you they weren't thinking they were getting this Jack Gunston back.
They were having conversations with him at one point, I think, when he was back at Hawthorn, saying, you might not get a game this year.
Yeah, he might end up coaching Calcadia.
Exactly right. And, mate, it just shows. But I think the way that their movement of the ball, their game style, suits how he plays as a forward sort of perfectly. He's never been your crash and bash sort of like forward, but you're talking about timing of leads, Berkey, with Norton. He'd be up there with one of the best timers coming out from the squares you've seen.
And both Jack Gunston and Mitch Lewis signed contracts during the week, so both will remain at Hawthorn. In the NRL tonight, it's the North Queensland Cowboys who lead the Broncos 16 points to 10. After the Bulldogs defeated the Warriors 18-6 and the Raiders 56-10. Second half getting underway. The Bulldogs by 31 points.
And English gets the first tap out, but he taps it right to Jack Ross of Richmond, puts it out wide to the right forward pocket where it bounces once, and then Hines will pick it up, gets a little hand pass away to Selwood. He flicks it off to Bailey Williams, whose dinky little kick will be cut off by Ross, who came in, took it, got tackled, but just got a hand pass away. Selwood then takes it for the Dogs. Can get a little hand pass out himself to Bailey Williams. This time he puts it on the boot, right down the wing. Artie Jones went in after it, couldn't get first to the footy. His teammate Norton takes it, hand passes it out to Dolan, who takes two bounces as he's running into the forward 50, then skies the footy up, looking for a mark. Lobb was there at the drop. Broad takes it for Richmond, hand passes it away to Campbell, hand passes back to Broad, still in defensive 50. Richmond trying to exit. Broad under all sorts of pressure, caught by Artie Jones. Indecisive, took too long, and Jones wasn't waiting for something to happen. He made it happen, tackled Broad, and will get a free kick 45 metres out from goal. A tough angle, but a chance to heap a little bit of pain on a mistake from an experienced defender.
Again, they're just in two minds. Do I kick it long? Do I run with it? Have I got a short? No, two minds, and get run down.
So here is Artie Jones lining up for goal. He's kicked 16 goals this season. A good year for him. A few injury concerns, but has remained mostly fit on the park. Kicks it right across the face of goal. It stays in play. Norton will get a free kick. It'll be penalised for Luke Traynor, who just held on to him a little as he was falling to ground. And Aaron Norton gets the free. Again, a tough angle, but a lot closer to goal. He'll try and snap this from the left forward pocket.
Even when the ball hit the ground then, there was not one Richmond player energised to get it.
Aaron Norton kicks this one across the face and just sneaks it through for a minor score. So a couple of shots on goal there for the Western Bulldogs, just ends in one behind. 32 points is their advantage. Very early stages of this third term.
He's got 1-3 this evening, Aaron Norton, as the Tigers try and bring it out of defence. Banks sends it up the wing. No mark claim. Comes off O'Donnell. Taken by Tom Brown. Hand pass up to Lafau. He overruns the footy, and in the end, Bailey Williams sees it out of play. And that was off a boot, says the umpire, of the Richmond forward. So the Bulldogs will take the free kick. Bailey Williams comes inboard to Riley Sanders. He has it with that glove on his hand and sends it up to Ed Richards. He marks it left half forward. Rory lobs the target in the pocket, and he too easily just shoved Nick Glostone out of the way. And that is the concern for some of the Richmond defenders. Yes, we know Noah Bolter is missing. We know Ben Miller's not there, but they are just getting pushed around this young and somewhat inexperienced defence, with the exception of Nick Glostone and Jaden Short.
Has Ed Richards been a glove wearer?
I'd have to check. Not from memory. Rory Lobb looks to open up the angle, and he hits the right goalpost. Across the face of goal. The Dogs' woes in front of the big sticks continue. 6 goals, 12-48. So the Tigers 2-3-15. The margin could be a lot greater 3 minutes in to the third term.
I reckon Berkey, did he have a fractured hand or something at one point? You might be onto something there, as Gloston kicks it out of defensive 50, where Traynor marks, hand passes it across to Sonzi, who's running down the wing. Good pass will hit Lawler on the chest, and he'll kick to centre half forward. Mark will be taken by Ross. Wants to hand it off to Lawler. Back quickly. He's running into the 50. A long-range goal from Sam Lawler. Was happy with his shot the moment it left his boot. And Richmond scores its first goal since the 12-minute mark of the first term by their former #1 draft pick in Sam Lawler. The Doggies' lead is cut back to 27 points early in this third term. It's Richmond 3-3-21, trailing the Western Bulldogs 6-12-48. About 4 minutes played in this third term. Saturday night footy on ABC Sport.
Well, it's the first time they've actually turned the doggies around. And by that, I mean had them running back towards their goal because the ball was coming in quickly. And that was because there was 2 handball receives through the middle. And previous to this in the first half, I can't remember one handball receive through the middle of the ground. 2 handball receives then. The doggies don't get a chance to actually flood back. They're on their way back. They're transitioning back rather than being back there. So that was the difference.
Pick one from 2024. Sam Lawler on the board tonight. Back in the middle of the ground. Free kick going English way for over the shoulder. Bontempelli takes the advantage. Drives it inside 50. Lobb pushed his opponent back into the contest. Trainer spalls it down. Dolan goes racing after it. Knocks it out to Norton. Cuts around one tackler. 2. Not Tom Brown, who gets him and wins a free kick for holding the ball in the right back pocket for the Tigers. Waston trying to make the case there should be 50 as there's a bit of pushing and shoving going on. Brown back to the left back pocket where Broad marks. Now up to Kai Annan. The former VFL Cat sends it up the wing. Lafau did the body work. Pushed Buku Kalmas out of the way. And takes the mark centre wing for the Tigers.
Lafau then kicks inboard towards Taranto. Has to work for it. Sticks out his left hand. Did his best but couldn't take the mark. And then Richards will pick it up for the Western Bulldogs. Hand pass across to Bontempelli. Puts out a pass to left half forward. Finds Waitman on the approach now. The Western Bulldogs puts the pass inside forward. 50. Dolan marks. Plays on. Then sticks his hand up and says, I'll stop. And the umpire pays the mark.
Definitely played on there, I thought.
He definitely played on.
He took 3 steps there.
One thing you won't notice then is Aaron Norton knew that he had the leading lane. Aaron Norton was so unselfish there. He thought, no. Doyle has the space to work into. I could be well within my right as the key forward to come up at the kicker here, but he just splits them so well. It's unrewarded sort of work or forward craft that no one can see.
Josh Dolan with a Ben Brown-style run-up. Finally kicks from 48 metres out. He's got the distance. He's got the accuracy as well. Backed himself and kicks the goal. And the Western Bulldogs push that lead back out to 33 points. 7-12-54. Richmond 3-3-21. 6.5 minutes played in the third term. And he almost went to play on, pulled himself back and kicked the goal. Young Josh Dolan.
Unfortunately, it started down here on the wing in front of us. Lafau took a really good contested mark against Kalmas. He had the opportunity to just put the foot down and go. But he thought, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to come back in and try and make something beautiful through the middle of the ground. Turns it over and there's a goal at the other end. I would have much rather him just use his legs and drive away from Kalmas and get that ball inside 50.
So they immediately respond, the Dogs, after Sam Lawler kicked the goal of the start the third quarter. Back to a 33-point margin. English rises up, wins down the tap against Nankervis. Bontempelli breaking out of the middle of the ground, sends it long to Norton, who gives the hand pass to Waitman into the open goal. A dream centre clearance for the Dogs. And that flash of blonde hair from Cody Waitman running into the open goal, combining with Aaron Norton. Waitman with just his 2nd goal of the season in his 6th game. Having had a nightmare run of operations, he had that knee condition, and he's able to hit the scoreboard here, and that might give the Dogs a bit of a lift. 39 points the margin, 8-12-60 to the Tigers, 3-3-21.
I'm going to harp on about this now with Aaron Norton, how unselfish he has played today. He hasn't hit the scoreboard as much as he wanted to. He's been a little bit inaccurate in front of goal. He has stretched the defence beautifully to allow others to get into the leading lane, and just that effort there, just to get Cody Waitman sort of into the game and onto the scoreboard. I really hope the footy gods pay him back.
Margin now out to 39 points. The Doggies have won the past 4 consecutively against Richmond as plays restarted in the middle. And Banks goes in after it, takes it, puts it out wide in front of Nankervis, who goes running in after it. Hand passes back to Sonzi, who wants to go backwards and finds Short. Steadying hands, takes the mark, centre wing. Dock side of the ground. And Short will go back towards Nathan Broad. At centre half back, he's got Anand in defensive 50, but wants to go forward. You can find Vlosten.
Like $1 for every time Broad's kicked it to Vlosten and Vlosten kicked it to Broad.
So Vlosten puts it out to centre wing. And the mark is dropped by Rechko. Does well to recover. Hand passes it to Grill. Little chip backwards towards Anand. puts it on his boot and goes longer with his kick. It goes over the top of two Richmond players, and it'll be Selwood that marks it. Kicks it out to Kennedy, chips it backwards towards West, and he'll be able to put it out wide where Davidson can mark.
Has it at right half back. Dolan's running hard on the wing. He's got 5 metres of space. He marks in front of Jaden Short. Looks up to half forward. Bontempelli's the target. And from the side, Broad makes the spoil, and it goes 3 rows into the crowd. The Bulldogs by 39 points. 2 goals to 1 so far in this third quarter. 8 goals 12-60 to the Tigers 3-3-21. Matt Clinch and Lauren Borden call the action. And Cohen down to the boundary. Cal Sinclair and Nathan Burke, your experts on ABC Sport. Nankervis wins down the tap. Ricochets off Richards. Nant can't gather. Richards can. Slips as he got a hand pass to English. Back to Richards. On 50. Pokes it into the pocket. Norton the target. Bounces off Waitman. And in the end, Ricochets through for a minor score. The Dogs by 40 points. 10 minutes gone in the third term.
Thanks to bringing in. Holding the footy in the goal square. Just spears the pass to Vlosten. About 30 metres out from defensive goal. 3-time premiership player goes along with his kick all the way to centre wing. Lynch has front position. There's 3 dogs surrounding him. Just did well to work him off the footy. Bontempelli couldn't pick it up cleanly. Close to the boundary line. Ralph Smith just keeps it in, and in the end it comes off Sonzi. And we'll have a throw in front of the interchange gates as Sammy Lawler just hands the footy back to the umpire for a throw in. Western Bulldogs ahead by 40 points. The second match here at Docklands today after Carlton defeated Gold Coast a little earlier on. English gets the tap out, goes straight to Vlosten, who hand passes it to Sonzi close to the boundary line. He works it down the Docks wing, and it's able to be marked by Mansell.
Possession number 4 coming up for him as he looks long inside 50. Lynch is the target. Karmas has had it spoiled by Caulfield in front of him. It stays alive for the moment. Unable to gather Ralph Smith. Good pressure though. Bramble got it back to Davidson. To Liberatore across halfback. Hand pass away to Buslinger. Looks up the wing. Norton in a 2-on-1. And the 2 Tigers win out. Hannon and Broad takes the mark from behind. He's at left halfback. The Bulldogs by 40 points, but no urgency for Nathan Broad. Call to play on. Chips an inboard to Jaden Short. It was a little casual. Didn't realise Riley West was there. Riley West with 2 goals tonight, including his career 100th goal in game 99. Short inside the defensive 50, where Trainer takes the mark. He can kick laterally out to Broad. Just happy to play this high possession game, the Tigers. But they're no closer to goal. And now Broad call to play on. Kennedy comes running at him, so has to dump it high up the wing. Taranto flies. In fact, it was Houghton who flew. Can't take the mark. And off hands it goes out of play. Centre wing for a boundary throw-in.
26,945 here today for Carlton and Gold Coast. Koza, what do you think tonight? Are we beating it with the crowd here this afternoon or this evening?
In a word, Lauren, I would suggest no. I would suggest no. And the Tiger fans that have been very excited previously are now much more quiet.
Yeah, there's a lot of blue and white as you look out across Docklands today. Not so much of the yellow and black. As the ball is tossed back in, the hand pass comes out to Vlosten, who puts it close to the boundary line. Grill tries to take the mark. It might have been just over. It was. It'll be out of bounds on the full. A free kick will be taken by Selwood. Puts it backwards into defensive 50, where Karmas will mark. And then he wants to go back to left half back, where Tom Liberatore takes the mark for the Western Bulldogs and gets a few cheers as well from the crowd around him as he makes his way back into the side after being managed and having quite a few injuries as well this year too.
He said publicly he wants to play on next season. Luke Beveridge said, we'll see the season out. Trainer got down low. He thought he was taken high by Aaron Norton. The umpire disagreed and will ball it up on the outer wing. The Bulldogs by 40 points. Thrown in the air. Nankervis bounces into English and then tries to do the roving. His hand pass doesn't clear the congestion. Liberatore is tackled and the umpire will ball it up. Jack Ross has a word to the umpire before he gives him the footy back. Thrown up. Nank wins down the tap, but Sanders releases Bontempelli. Hand pass to the run of Bramble through the middle of Docklands. High search and kick over the head of West. Norton went up early. Can't take the mark on the back of Annan. West gathers. Away to Waitman into the open goal for his second. Cody Waitman dribbles through. Back-to-back goals. And isn't it good to see him back? Having spent over 20 months on the sidelines. Previously to featuring this season, his last game was in the elimination final back in 2024. and the Bulldogs are out to a 46-point lead with the last 3 goals of the match. 9 goals, 13-67 the Dogs to the Tigers, 3-3-21. Cal Sinclair and Nathan Burke with you on ABC Sport.
Going to give a quick shout out to Lockie Bramble. He had 13 possessions in that second quarter. He's up to 18 now, but his run off that half-back line has been really good tonight for the Western Bulldogs. And the Tigers' small forwards with Campbell and these guys down there, they've got to pay more attention to those half-backs running off because they're starting to do a little bit too much damage.
Back in the middle, Nankervis and Lobb contest the ruck. Taranto will take it and just shove it on his boot. A spiralling kick forward. Grill doing his best for the Tigers. In comes Cumming to help him out. Hand pass to Lawler. 45 metres out. He'll go for goal again this time, though. It's inaccurate and off to the left-hand side. He can't add to his goal that he scored earlier on in this quarter. Just a minor score. Doggies lead 45 points.
Bustling it quickly back in to Caulfield as the Dogs try and move it quickly in transition. As Buku Kama's free at left half back. He hugs the kick to his chest and he takes it for the Bulldogs. They lead by 45 points. Inboard to Sanders, not 15, so back to Karmas. Has to work it around Lafau. So dumps a high kick up the wing. Waitman flies, can't take the mark. He lost his footing. Jaden Short kept his. He gathers for the Tigers, kicks up towards Lafau. He drops the mark at half forward. Karmas takes it back. Hand pass to Caulfield. Chips it all the way back to O'Donnell. He marks in the right back pocket for the Dogs. Swings it out to Cooper Hines, who marks in the left back pocket. Kicks up to Dolan. He has it at right half back for the Dogs. Thought about giving it back to Hines. Now sends it up the wing. Rory lobbed the target. He changed his role in recent weeks, playing more as a forward/second ruck than a key defender. In the period with our missing Tim English in the ruck. Lobb sends it high and long in the Aaron Norton direction. Kai Annan makes the spoil. It stays in momentarily. Kennedy off balance, sends it long to the goal square. West had a sport away from him by Tom Brown. Working back, Lafau gathers for the Tigers. Hand pass back to Brown. And a chance to clear as he sends it to the outer wing. And the mark is taken on the lead by Sam Cumming.
Sam Cumming, who's had a good season for the Tigers and worked hard for them as a young player in this Richmond lineup. Takes his kick and just pumps it right down the outer wing. Campbell had front position, but he had Selwood right behind him, and the ball goes out of bounds for a throw-in on the outer side of the ground. Seth Campbell, the only player to have played every game for Richmond this year. The Western Bulldogs, on the other side of things, have 7 players who have played every game for them. Just so many injuries for this Richmond lineup across the year as the ball's tossed in. Broad takes it, hand passes it across to Grill. He's taken height, and he'll get a free kick at centre wing.
Well, let's see if we can go sideways.
So Sam Grill just holding on to it in his first season with the Tigers. And the Canterbury Cobras turns it over as Artie Jones comes in, gets a hand to the ball that was going down the ground. And now it'll be a ball up on the outer side of Docklands as Banks gets up from the field, hands the footy back to the umpire. The Doggies ahead by 45, 17 minutes played in this third term.
Lobb wins down the tap against Lafau. It's sharked though by Tim Taranto. Hand pass to Ross, sends it out wide, and Seth Campbell takes the mark. He's at right half forward. Barely 15 as he sends it up towards Cumming. He drives it inside 50. Ralph Smith has 3 Bulldogs defenders to deal with, and it goes out of play. Just the 9 tackles so far in this third quarter. We're ticking towards 18 minutes. The Bulldogs have had 6 tackles. The Richmond have had just 3. Sort of reflects a bit of the pressure as the umpire spotted a free kick off the ball. I think this is going against Seth Campbell.
I watched Commonwealth Games lawn bowls the other night. It was more exciting than this.
Oh, I love lawn bowls, Berkey. Don't.
No, I'm not. I'm
I
saying
think is that a real compliment?
It was, far more exciting than this.
There's actually a pennant competition in Burleigh Heads next week. There's a guy at work that I work with heading up there. So for a 4-day event.
Bit of the Victorian Open or something. Well, it's not the Australian Open.
Not sure what it is. I think there's a $5,000
oh, wow.
prize pool.
There you go. Sanders through the middle of the ground. Got it to Liberatore. Releases Richards, who kicks into Lafau. It ricochets back to him. Gets a hand pass over the top to Artie Jones. Might give it back to Ed Richards. Swings onto his left. It all ends well in the end. Ed Richards finishes with his second goal. It was a bit of a comedy of errors, but the Bulldogs are doing enough at the moment. They've kicked 4 goals so far in this third quarter to stretch it out to 51 points. 10-13, 73 to the Tigers 3-4-22. Cal Sinclair and Nathan Burke, your experts on ABC Sport.
Probably that
bad look.
At least dominant 51-point lead that I think I can recall.
Yeah.
You wouldn't say that the Bulldogs they're playing all over them and the Tigers can't stop them. Even then, Ed Richards tried to give the ball back twice to the Tigers, but they couldn't accept it. Ended up with Artie Jones, who was standing 20 metres out from goal all by himself somehow, and gave Ed Richards a third opportunity. And you give him 3 goes at it, he's going to eventually put it through.
It is a 51-point margin, 19 minutes gone in this third term. Ball back in the middle, and the umpires found a free kick. And we're going to Liberatore for being taken high. And he takes his kick from the centre of Dockland, swings it out, looking for Haynes. He gets cluttered into, and the ball spills out, and it'll be taken by Banks, who just puts the pass forward to find Zane Piker. Marks, centre wing, right in front of the Richmond bench. Puts his kick, looking for Campbell. It's not a great kick as it comes towards him, and the mark will be taken by Williams. Juggled it about 6 times, but held on to the mark, kicks it out wide towards Hines. And he marks, and then just puts the kick right down the wing. He tried to casually send it down the line, but it's Piker who takes it for the Tigers, and he'll try and do something with it for Richmond. In the end, it's just a pass to left half forward where a pack will form. Mansell was at the front, brought the ball to ground. Buslinger was there. He's in a tussle with Mansell, who wraps him up. And it'll be a ball up at half forward for the Tigers. They are trailing by 51 points. They had an early lead in the game, but it's been the Western Bulldogs ever since the first quarter.
Ralph Smith's had to come to the bench with blood streaming down. We'll go to Ian Cohen. I think we can check in with him now. Koza, back of the bench for him.
Yeah, certainly being attended to by the doctors at the moment. Appears to be a cut over the right eye, so they're going to work on him.
Taken by Tim Taranto, gets the hand pass away to Houghton and out of Tyler Saunds. He sends it inside 50, flying from behind. No mark taken by Sam Cumming. Fraser creatively slapped it up to Bontempelli. Hand pass a little loose for Richards. Buslinger goes back in, got it to Richards. Hand passes, he's brought down by Mansell to Bailey Williams. He turns it over. Nick Loston with the intercepting mark at right half forward. Has Houghton free at right half forward. He takes the mark. Taj Houghton, who's just outside 50. This will test him. Pick 12 in 2024. He doesn't look like he knows he can carry 50. So he sends it to the top of the goal square. Lyncher gets 3, and he reels in the mark. Tim English was positioned in front of him. In the end, I think they all thought English had it covered. And Selwood tried to make it late, and O'Donnell was standing at the back, trying to make the case that there might have been a hand onto it. But Tom Lynch reels in the mark.
Well, it's one of the few times they've allowed him to just get a good, decent run and jump at the footy.
Against 2 Western Bulldogs players in front of him. Tom Lynch has 1 goal tonight, 501 for his career. For the Tigers' 2nd goal of the 3rd quarter. He pokes it through. And much needed to keep some interest in this contest. The Dogs 10-13-73 to the Tigers 4-4-28. The Bulldogs with 4 goals to 2 so far in this 3rd quarter through 22 minutes. Saturday night footy on ABC Sport on the SMS. G'day guys, enjoying the call. Berkey, you seem to be commentating a lot on the Tigers games. Is that out of want or necessity?
I might have penance for something.
We don't normally get to pick the games in which we do. It's normally based upon the day or the time slot.
I've done something wrong somewhere.
You have seen a lot of the Tigers, haven't you? Even you mentioned pre-game that you've seen a lot of them throughout this season.
They even sent me to Tasmania to see the Tigers.
Yeah. So if you've got a question, Berkey's your expert. Send it through. 0437 774 774 as niche as you want to get. Berkey's seen it all this season. Nankervis in the ruck, taps it down, then goes chasing after it himself and gathers it. Hand passes it to Houghton. Hand pass across to Banks, who stabs the kick forward. It'll work for Piker. Good lead. And he marks just forward of centre wing for Richmond. Doesn't take too long with his kick. Will pop it into the left forward pocket. Karmas jumped up, tapped it down. Works for Caulfield, who'll clear it out of defensive 50 for the Western Bulldogs. Williams marks right half back. Almost looks to share it back into the defensive 50. And then we'll put it long down the line to the wing where Lobb has back position but was tall enough to punch it away to the advantage of Waitman, who's got some speed and will just send a wobbly old kick inside forward 50. West can't mark, traps it where it is. Artie Jones goes in to help him, and in the end it stacks on inside the forward 50 for the Western Bulldogs. Tom Brown's on the bottom in the Tigers jumper, and it'll be a ball up about 20 metres out from the Doggies attacking goal. They're ahead by 45.
Thrown up now, Curvis. Sharks are down, but straight in the path of Davidson. Curls it towards goal. And the right boot, he can't carry the distance. And Richko back takes the mark a couple of metres out. And a 50-metre penalty now against Rory Lobb, it seems, as he tries to plead his case. Richko won't wait, and he charges into the middle of Docklands. 45 points as the Bulldogs lead. 4 goals to 2 the way of the Doggies in this third quarter. Sends it to the outer side to Jaden Short. Chips it over the top. Grill has the mark. Where to for the Tigers? Sends it high and wide in the direction of Ryan Mansell, and he and Caulfield and entangle as the ball goes over the boundary line off hands. And the umpire says throw it in.
James Podsiadly. Love.
Lovewell, we're back there.
Been researching that for the last 10 minutes.
I have, yeah. I was looking at players that have worn them.
Had a few on the SMS, which I didn't read out. Sav Rocker was another one.
Yeah. More players than you think that wore the glove.
I reckon Jeff White might have been a chance.
Yeah, I think you might be right with that one. So tossed in, there's a high free kick coming the way of Richmond. And it won't be Sam Lawler who's got it. He gives the footy back to Houghton. And Taj Houghton will have a set shot at goal for Richmond. About 45 metres out, he'll have to kick from.
I'll give you another one. Peter Everett wore the glove, but he wore the hobo one with the fingers cut out.
Like a bike glove.
So you can write with it. Not that he was writing. Taj Houghton running in to take his shot at goal. It's a good-looking kick. It's to the near side. Just a minor score for the Tigers.
Western Bulldogs ruckman.
Scotty Wind.
Yep.
Very successful in the waste management industry. Very, very successful.
Good.
Yeah.
Waste management.
44-point lead the Bulldogs' way. Cal Sinclair bringing the information to you on a Saturday night. Free kick going the way of Rory Lobb.
Very successful. If you're out there, he'll shout you a beer.
Bontempelli kicks up towards Artie Jones in a 2-on-2. He wins the footy, but Boston reels him in. Takes him over the boundary line for a throw-in. Another one on the SMS that came through, Berkey. Fraser Gehrig, did he wear one?
He did, yes.
G-Train?
Yep.
Was he your scariest teammate? I reckon he's one of the scariest players I've ever watched play. No?
Watch the replay. Fraser used to miss everyone by about an inch when he used to come flying through.
He's in the landscaping game these days. or grass?
Fake grass.
Fake grass. That's close.
You cross all the LinkedIn tonight, Cal. You know every player what they've gone on to do after their playing career. Boston, his kick is touched off the boot. Richards tackled by Prestia. Ball spills out. Umpire waves play on. Bontempelli gathers, pierces it into the pocket. Rory Lobb wasn't on the same page. And the intercepting mark taken by Tom Brown. He looks to bound out of defence. Lobb offers a good chase. Drew an opponent. Out past to Banks. Dodging and weaving.
That way.
In fact, it was Jaden Short who, in the end, found the option, and Taj Houghton has it at right half back.
Jaden Short, you're one of the best kicks on the field. Don't run and look sideways. That should have been inside 50.
He gets the footy back from Houghton and then gives the kick off to Taranto. He kicks down to right half forward again. It seems like there's more Bulldogs all the time surrounding the footy, but Piker can manage to get it, just kicks it towards the top of the goal square. Mansell's there to finish it off. And in the same way, Waitman's done it at the other end of the field. Mansell comes in and slams it through from point-blank range. And the Tigers have their third goal of the quarter. The margin's still 38 points. Western Bulldogs way. 10-13-73 is the Western Bulldogs score. Richmond is 5-5-35. It's Saturday night footy on ABC Sport.
You're going to give Piker credit there for just deliberately putting that one out in front?
Yeah.
You will?
It's his second game.
I will too.
Yeah.
I will too. It was a smart kick. He was almost going to get smothered if he kicked it too high. So he probably knew that his teammate was quick. So he kicked it along the ground, out in front to the goal square, let his teammate run onto it and kick the goal. Smart play.
Well, Selwood's spoil into the middle of the ground was a little bit dangerous there. Could have potentially have taken that grab.
So Tigers have back-to-back goals for the first time tonight. English one down the tap. Richards to Bontempelli. was able to fend off the tackle from Taranto and then laced out to Fraser, who runs to 55. Unselfishly looked in the pocket for Bailey Williams, missed him. He races back after it, trying to break the tackle of Trainer, and he can't do so as he sees him over the boundary line for a throw-in in the right forward pocket. The Dogs by 38 points. So we tick up to 29 minutes gone in the third term.
Here's another quiz question. 163rd time these two sides have played. How many finals have they played in? This ball is tossed in. English gets a little tap out towards Dolan. Hand passes into some space. Prestia gathers it. And then he's taken to the turf by Dolan. Ball up about 35 metres out from the Western Bulldogs goal.
I'm going to say never.
Yeah, I don't feel like many.
Yeah,
Ding, ding, ding.
In my time, every time the Tigers good, the Bulldogs aren't, and vice versa.
So tossed up, Dolan takes it, and Brown tackles him to the turf. Correct. Never played a final.
Speaking of the Tigers not being any good at the moment, their fans drop off quickly.
Yes.
Tell you what, every man and their dog was a Tiger supporter when things are going well. Can't wait for this to blow up in the morning.
They don't like coming to Docklands, we know that. Hiker takes them up.
Where are you?
Back, got it from Sam Cumming.
When things are tough.
Turns and kicks it back inside defensive 50 to Richco. Taj Houghton is free across half-back. He chips it up in that direction. Takes the mark at left half-back. The Bulldogs 10-13-73 to the Tigers 5-5-35. The Dogs with 4-3 in this third quarter as the long kick is intercepted from Taj Houghton by Tim English. Have you seen the battle of the two rucks tonight? Nank and English, Cal?
I think around the ground, hand on ball, English has done very well with getting back to support, but in terms of presence in the middle there, probably a hard one to judge. Clearance count, you probably give English the chocolates.
Vlossen wanted a free kick for high contact. He got it as Broad volleys it across the defensive 50. The siren sounds for three-quarter time, so it's not going to matter for anyone. And the Bulldogs lead by 38 points at three-quarter time. 10-13-73 to the Tigers 5-5-35. The Dogs lead by 2 points at quarter time, by 31 points at half time. And in the end, despite booting 4 goals on the bounce in that third quarter, the Tigers finished with the last 2 of the third quarter to have the margin back to 38 points. For the Western Bulldogs, 2 goals to Riley West, 2 goals to Ed Richards, and 2 goals to Cody Waitman. Individuals to Croft, Dolan and Norton alongside Davidson for the Dogs. While for the Tigers, 2 goals to Tom Lynch, individuals to Lawler, Mansell and Lafau. The Bulldogs by 38 points at three-quarter time. Earlier, it was the Sydney Swans by 51 points over the Giants. 21-13, 139 to the Giants 13-10, 88 to keep the Swans in second spot. Errol Goulden was the medalist with 41 disposals, 7 clearances and 1,047 metres gained. While Hawthorn recorded a 93-point win over the Bombers, Jack Gunston booted 7 goals, his career 600th goal amongst that. And Jarman Impey had a career-best 37 disposals, while the Blues were back on the winners list with a 13-point win over the Gold Coast Suns. 16-14, 110 to the Suns 15-7, 97. So Josh Fraser's side back on the winners list. Jagger Smith with 31 disposals. And the Blues now 8 wins and 2 losses under Josh Fraser. Thanks for your company tonight on Saturday Night Footy on ABC Sport.
Okay, let's do it. The ABC Listen app now has a space just for kids and families. Ooh. The only place for new episodes of Bluey Listen Along. Radio, podcasts and routines. I love it. Everything families need anytime on the ABC Listen app.
This is the 2026 AFL Premiership season with ABC Sport.
Sonzi is running down the wing. Good pass will hit Lawler on the chest and he'll kick to centre half forward. Mark will be taken by Ross. Wants to hand it off to Lawler. Back quickly. He's running into the 50. A long-range goal from Sam Lawler. Was happy with his shot the moment it left his boot.
Bramble through the middle of Docklands. High search and kick over the head of West. Norton went up early. Can't take the mark on the back of Annan. West gathers. Away to Waitman into the open goal for his second. Cody Waitman dribbles through. Back-to-back goals. And isn't it good to see him back through the middle of the ground? Got it to Liberatore. Releases Richards, who kicks into Lafau. It ricochets back to him. Gets a hand pass over the top to Artie Jones. Might give it back to Ed Richards. Swings onto his left. It all ends well in the end. Ed Richards finishes with his second goal.
Taranto kicks down to right half forward. Again, it seems like there's more Bulldogs all the time surrounding the footy, but Piker can manage to get it, just kicks it towards the top of the goal square. Mansell's there to finish it off.
The AFL on ABC Sport.
On radio
ABC Sport Digital Radio.
and ABC Listen.
Three-quarter time at Docklands. The Western Bulldogs lead by 38 points, 10-13, 73 to the Tigers, 5-5-35. Matt Clinch and Lauren Borden calling the action, and Cohen down on the boundary. Cal Sinclair and Nathan Burke, your experts on ABC Sport.
Well, Cal, I think we said at half-time it wasn't a spectacular game, and it didn't get any better, to be totally honest, in that third quarter. Pretty much same. The Tigers had one great passage of play where they didn't bring the ball too wide. They went through the logo. They got a handball receive, hit somebody who then turned around quickly and then hit somebody, got a handball receive, and Lawler ended up kicking a lovely goal. That was the first time we saw that bit of play, and it's the last time we've seen that bit of play. Everything else has been just chip. Their proactive handballing is just non-existent. They only handball the ball when they're in trouble, and they have to. There's nothing proactive about it. Whereas for the Western Bulldogs, they're probably falling into a similar sort of game style. One thing that we know about the Western Bulldogs when they are up and about, when they're playing their best football, they're probably the best handballing team in the league. And they can get themselves out of trouble and eventually get the ball to somebody streaming forward and actually hitting a forward. But we haven't seen that tonight either. They've actually started to play the way that the Tigers are playing and just want to chip the ball around. Thank you to the Nuffies who invented the stand rule, because what we end up with is these sorts of games where I've just got time and space, I'll just chip it short. And to be honest, it's crap to watch. And someone will come in and eventually change it. But what we get these type of games where everybody says the best way for me to get a possession is an uncontested mark. So I'm not going to run past for a handball. I'm not going to do something dynamic. I'm just going to go get that easy one, and I don't want to do anything tricky with the footy. I'll just chip it to you 15 metres ahead, and now your job, you do something with it. As long as the other team don't have it, and we end up with games like this. So thank you very much.
Well, I don't know how to. I don't think I could top that. That was one of the greatest monologues that I've ever witnessed. But I do agree with you. I think if you're a Richmond supporter, no wonder they're not showing up to games at the moment, because they're not that fun to watch. That this chip sideways thing and this lack of being daring or taking a risk with the footy. Like Lafau took a great mark on the wing at one point and looked inside to the corridor. And yeah, he missed the kick, but at the end of the day, I thought, you know what, at least he's trying to actually put some pace on the ball and try and attack it from the middle of the ground rather than chip around scenario. But who's playing well for the Dogs? Ed Richards had 2 goals and he's had 25. Bailey Williams has had 22. Bramble has had 22. So there aren't many major possession getters that are out there at the moment, but probably Ed Richards has been the one that's starred for us watching, and Aaron Norton, I think, has been shown a really, really good presence up forward.
Yeah, 1 goal, 3 for Aaron Norton tonight. He's given off a couple. Interestingly, Adam Uze spent the majority of three-quarter time with his magnet board before addressing his team. Final quarter underway. Bulldogs by 38 points. Non-officiating umpires picked out a free kick. And it's going the way of Tim Taranto in the middle of Docklands. So the Tigers get a chance to go inside 50 first, but he doesn't really move it with much urgency until now. Lynch is the target. Spoiled from behind by O'Donnell. Croft has it hugged to him as the tackle is laid by Grill. And also Ralph Smith, who now has that head bandaged after the nick just below the eye. Umpire throws it up. English wins down the tap against Nankervis. Just flies out towards Richards. Can't get bootable as he's tackled. The ball spills out the way of Liberatore. Clean hand pass to Bontempelli. Great smother from Ross. Spills out the way of the Tigers. Jaden Short gathers. Hand pass to Prestia. Had 17 disposals in the first half. Kicks up towards the 50. Lafau dropped the mark in front. Umpire said there was a push.
I'm always very protective of forwards, but Burke, yeah, I agree with you. Like that should not be a free kick. That's just making a contest.
Yeah.
It's just making a contest.
He's dropped a couple. McKelty Lafau. In the end, he's lucky to get a free kick here, but
that's just called competing.
Lynch was lucky not to give away a free kick for throwing his opponent to the ground before the ball got there.
Here's Lafau.
Nice kick.
Shooting out to the right for the opening goal of the final quarter, as you heard from Berkey. steers through his second. And the Tigers all of a sudden have 3 goals on the bounce either side of three-quarter time. The margin back to 32 points. The Dogs 10-13, 73 to the Tigers 6-5, 41. Lafau, the leading goal kicker for the Tigers this season. He's up to 18 goals for the season.
And that's what I mean about getting the ball one-on-one into your forward 50 as quickly as you can, because that's how easy it is to get a free kick. But we try and be too perfect. We want to be perfect. Allow the umpires to give you a couple of cheap ones, because you'll get them.
The margin was 51 points before this string of 3 goals, like you mentioned. Clinchy has brought it back to 32 points. This play set to restart in the middle. Nankervis and English. Nankervis rises highest, taps it down, then soccers it forward. It's picked up by Ross, takes it, hand passes it back to Prestia, and he just puts the kick forward of him, and he's able to spot up the hands of Grill, takes it, and will pump the footy inside forward 50. He's punched down to Mansell, who can take it right forward pocket. Can he work something with the footy? It's right across the face. It's out of bounds on the full. And it'll be a free kick to Lockie Bramble, who's coming up to his 23rd position. It's an ordinary kick. Means he has to work hard to get the hand pass back from Richards. Gets it across to Bontempelli, who works it out a defensive 50 mark, taken by Croft. Left half back for the Doggies. Hand passes it to Karmas, who kicks it down towards Waitman, who goes diving like he's taking a slips catch. And he can't mark this one, but he doesn't concede anything. And it'll be a throw-in right in the middle of the interchange gates. The Western Bulldogs ahead by 32 points. Saturday night footy on ABC Sport.
Lockie Bramble slow to get up. He ran full on into Lafau, who got him right in the midriff.
Thrown in. Nankervis takes front position. English reaches over the back. Spills down to Taranto. Hand pass away. Cross half back. Ross. It's laterally to Ralph Smith, who marks in front of the boundary line. Looks up to half forward. Tom Lynch the target. Buku Karmas comes across on the side and takes the intercepting mark at left half back. The Bulldogs by 32 points. Inboard to O'Donnell. Feeds it back to Buslinger. Can chip it to Bramble, who marks in the right back pocket. Lockie Bramble looks up to Liberatore. He leads broad to the footy and takes the mark. He's a right half back. Has players in the corridor. Artie Jones is one of them. Takes the mark. He's held up momentarily by Nick Flostone. As Jones cuts on his right, kicks to the lead of Rory Lobb. It's been this sort of game, really. Just 19 tackles in that third quarter, in which the Western Bulldogs laid 18 of them. Now the kick from Lobb up to Norton, who rises and takes the mark right on 50. Curls out to the left, sends it long in the Riley West direction. He rises up, Mansell in from the side, cannon into almost his own teammate in Nankervis, and a little slow to rise. The Tigers through Lynch, across half back, hand pass inboard to Ralph Smith, to Lawler, into a dead end. Somehow Jack Ross was able to drop it to his boot. He gathers 15 metres. Lynch tries to slap it on. Kennedy comes charging in from the side and locks the ball up with the support of Croft, and the player on the bottom of the pack is Jaden Short.
Riley West did well to get up from that one, because I think it was Nankervis coming the other way. Completely barreled him, so good effort, little fella.
So it's Nankervis back in the ruck, but it's Kennedy that wins the footy for the Dogs. Hand passes it to Waitman, kicks it right down the line. Vlosten's there, he goes tumbling in to take it, walks in, takes it, then Lobb tackles him, loses the footy. West wins it for the Western Bulldogs. Croft has a go at it. It's all a bit messy. Hand pass to Waitman. His kick will bounce a couple of times. It might work for Bontempelli, who kicks towards the goal. It's offline to the right-hand side. And it ends up hitting the right behind post, and we'll have a throw-in inside forward 50 for the Western Bulldogs. So a tumbling kick just tumbles into that right behind post, which gives the Western Bulldogs another opportunity. It's Richmond who will kick the most recent 3 goals in the match. It's tossed in. Waitman's there at the back of the pack. Blind hand pass to Arnie Jones, who snaps towards goal. And this one's through for the Western Bulldogs. There's a few hands on hips now from Richmond players, but it's Artie Jones who puts through the goal for the Western Bulldogs and just pushes out that margin to 38 points again in this last quarter. 11-13-79 the Dogs, the Tigers 6-5-41, 6 minutes played in this final term.
It's not a bad forward line. Like, you think about getting Sam Darcy back longer term, you're going to have Norton, Darcy, Waitman, Artie Jones. Well, that's a good 4. That's a good 4. Like, and you get the quality mids healthy.
If Croft keeps developing as that third at all. That'll be very handy.
Just their defence, isn't it? You just feel like if they could probably this trade period, they can go to market and see what they can jag in those stocks.
They actually look better with Rory Lobb back there. He actually does okay as a tall defender.
Richards out of the middle of the ground, hand pass to Bontempelli, links up with Fraser, looks laterally to Matt Kennedy, takes the mark at the edge of the centre square. They're on the overlap, hand pass to Hines, sends it into the pocket, Waitman juggles the mark.
He's finding his touch, Waitman.
He's getting better with each game, Broad in from the side, couldn't get a hand to it. And Cody Waitman with 2 goals tonight, had just 1 goal for before tonight's contest. He's starting to find his best footy once more after so long on the sideline.
Right, left foot snap or the banana on the right?
I reckon he's a banana kind of guy. Hard against the boundary line. Cody Waitman goes the banana and misses to the right-hand side. It's a 39-point lead the Bulldogs' way. So tick past 7.5 minutes gone in the final term.
Tom Brown coming in to take the kick-ins for the Tigers. Just kicks it to the right back pocket where he finds Trainer. Kicks down to a contest that's forming on the wing. It's mark taken is by Buslinger, who puts it out wide. And Bontempelli will mark. Couple of kicks from home. Just dabs this one into the left forward pocket again, looking for Waitman. And it was touched over the line, throwing inside forward 50 for the Western Bulldogs. Completely on top in this game now. Ahead by 39 points, 8 minutes played in this final term. The crowd, mostly Western Bulldogs supporters that have come out for this Saturday night match under the roof at Docklands. Round 20 against Richmond. Ball tossed in. Nankervis and English in the ruck. It falls down to Cumming, who takes it, hand passes it to Rechko. He clears it out of defensive 50, but it's picked up by Buslinger of the Western Bulldogs. Hand pass across to Croft. Kick goes inside forward 50. Bontempelli front position. Can't take it. West is there to rove it. Hand passes it across to Hines. Puts it through the middle. Hines pops it through. And the Western Bulldogs go out ahead by 45 points. 12-14-86. Richmond 6-5-41. 9 minutes played in this final term. There was a little resurgence from Richmond after they kicked 3 goals in a row either side of three-quarter time, but it is the Western Bulldogs back in control with a 45-point lead.
Well, it needs to continue to grow because we mentioned before the game the importance of percentage and the poor percentage, low 90s of the Western Bulldogs when the teams that they're battling with that probably 6 to 8 spot, 10, 13 points ahead of them. So every single goal now is important.
Yeah, so as it stands at the moment with victory tonight, the Bulldogs would be equal with sides 4th through to 7th. So Brisbane, Adelaide, Melbourne and the Dogs, which, as Berkey said, the Bulldogs' percentage is under 196. Prestia out of the middle of the ground for the Tigers. Kicks up towards half forward. Swansea can't mark. Ross got it away to Lawler. Open goal square. Fires from 50. Slides off this outside of the boot and misses to the right-hand side. He's had a few opportunities in front of goal tonight. Sam Lawler, 1 goal, 2 for him, as the margin is 44 points.
Buslinger takes a couple of bounces before putting the kick over the top of Davidson's head. He goes in after it. Jones gets there first. He can't pick up the ball cleanly. It'll be the Tigers that recover here via Lawler, who goes backwards. Finds Banks, takes the mark, chips it all the way back into defensive 50. And Kai Anand will take it and hold on to it for Richmond. Mid-season pick-up out of Ocean Grove. Then puts it back out to the outer wing. And he was looking for Rechko, who will get a free kick here against Jones and Williams. Takes it and just darts the kick across to Prestia. Just in from the boundary line. And Prestia goes backwards to Broad. And he can just chip it across to Brown, who's leading at him. And he's now in the centre corridor of Docklands. He kicks it down the line. And Cumming will mark. So holding on to the footy in the centre of Docklands Stadium. Chips it down to Sam Lawler, centre half forward. Very slow approach from the Tigers here. They've gone all the way back into their defensive 50. All the way to Sam Lawler holding it at centre half forward. Kicks it down into the right forward pocket. There was a rise that came from Houghton, but we paid a free kick against him for in the back. And that means that Selwood can take it in the left back pocket for the Western Bulldogs.
Works it back to Buslinger, who kicks it into the back pocket.
Oh, Lawler's pushed over. He's a Fraser in the middle of the ground.
So it's going to be a downfield free kick into the middle of the ground. O'Donnell, he's going to take the footy from half back all the way to where the free kick took place. The Bulldogs by 44 points. He gathers some momentum and drives a long ball inside 50. Where's Norton in from the side? I think English took the mark. It spills out to West. He's tried to take the advantage. I think he can take advantage from a mark. So we'll have to come back from Tim English. Did he hold it long enough?
That's such a small forward move from West. It's such a small forward move. Just go. You take every opportunity you can get. I think he hung on to enough of it.
Had it long enough in your eyes, Cal.
Yeah.
So Tim English in his battle with Toby Nankervis, this would give him a bit of bragging rights if he can finish in front of goal and become the 10th individual goal kicker for the Western Bulldogs tonight. Hasn't had as much of it around the ground as he would have liked. But Tim English with a stutter approach from 30 metres out. Pokes through another one for the Western Bulldogs. The margin swells once more out to 50 points. And the Dogs 13-14-92 to the Tigers 6-6-42 have kicked the last 3 goals of the match. Ian Cohen down on the boundary ahead of Berkey and Cal Sinclair.
Well, the good news is most of the teams have had a good, clean bill of health, which is good. Ryan Mansell's been walking off for a bit of a foot niggle, but Ed Richards has been on the bench now for 6 or 7 minutes. He seems to have maybe a high buttock issue that the physio is working on, maybe high hamstring, so he might be done for the night. They might just put him on ice.
Is that a high buttock or a low buttock high hamstring?
I'll go and check with him.
So Tim English, the 9 disposals and a goal. Rory Lobb, 8 disposals and 3 behind. So it's a night of what could have been for some of the Bulldogs players in front of goal.
Arjun sitting at 50 points. It's Lafau that's in the ruck for Richmond. He hand passes it to himself and goes for a little hand pass, can just get it away. Fraser steals it for the Dogs. Hand passes it to Bontempelli. There's a holding free kick for Lafau. And it'll be coming back to the Tiger in the centre of Docklands. Inside 50, he'll send it. Seth Campbell will go running after it in the right forward pocket. Gets to it, then gets dispossessed. Ralph Smith just takes it and carries it over the line for a throw-in inside forward 50 for Richmond. Tigers kicking towards the Coventry end in this final term. Of course, no signs. They've all been removed a couple of years ago and they've never come back. Tossed inside. Lynch in front position as the Tigers ruck inside forward 50. Brings it down to Ralph Smith. Taranto's there, weaving around his opponent. Left-footed kick into the centre of the 50. It bounces and it'll be Hines who can take it. Swung to the turf. And he's held up.
Which is the disgrace, Loz?
I'm with you, Berkey. You can't name ends and then take them off.
Well, foul wins down the tap. No room to move those. Somehow Liberatore got a hand pass out. Bontempelli couldn't clear the passage. Hines gives it back to him. Got around Ralph Smith and then tries to drop it onto his boot. Didn't clear the congestion. Lafau takes it back for Richmond. Hand pass to Ross. Kicks looking for Mansell. Can't take the mark. Buku Karmas in from the side. Off balance. Kicks out towards the boundary line. Bontempelli rises over Ralph Smith. And off hands it goes out of play.
Bontempelli or Pelly?
He's not very good, that number 4. He just mucked that up.
Bontempelli.
It's been a long day, Clinchy.
It has been a long day. I wouldn't say this has been the greatest of standards, and yet the Dogs lead by 50 points.
Do you think Tony Lockett's offended that he no longer has his name here, Berkey?
He probably didn't know that it was here in the first place.
Lafau follows up from the ruck battle, gathers for Richmond. Hand pass away to Jack Ross. Gives it to Taranto into the pocket. Seth Campbell's had a quiet night as well. He's outmarked on this occasion by Selwood. Switches it across to his fellow long-haired Bulldog defender, and Bustlinger works into the pocket for O'Donnell.
I'm offended on his behalf.
You're offended on behalf of Plugger? That's good to know. Someone has to be. Kicks it down to Karmas, and then Bustlinger gets it back. Hand passes it right into the centre to Caulfield. Hand pass to Lobb. Hand pass to Kennedy, and he'll go out wide. It's a hacked kick.
Getting ugly.
That's no good at all, except for Rechko, who's able to chop it off for the Tigers, and he chips it down to Houghton, down to Ian Cohen on the boundary.
Well, whichever was a high or low buttock, it's okay for Richards because he's out to get some more possessions.
It's important stuff. Thanks, goes up.
Go backwards.
As Richmond work it through the centre of Docklands, and they're able to find Banks who marks and then goes with that 15-metre chip kick out wide to Kai Anand. As Richards just encroaches on the mark. Sometimes that's 50, sometimes not.
Go backwards. There we go.
And that's what he's done. He's able to find Trainer, who goes right back to Vlosten, who's on the half-back line for Richmond. Chips it out wide to Rechko, who essentially started this passage of play at the exact spot he is at now. Centre wing, outer side of the ground. Thumps it on his boot. We'll get it to the top of the 50 for the Tigers. It falls into the hands of Mansell, who was at the back of the pack. Ryan Mansell marks for Richmond.
Go backwards.
Yep.
Do it.
Oh, no, he's going to go forward.
And kick it.
Spiraling kick.
Wow.
That was just a nothing kick that went into the forward pocket, and Bailey Williams chops it off.
He goes short into the back pocket where Fraser has it. It was dropped last week and then recall with the laid out with Tom Liberatore. Switch kick, Selwood just joggled the mark. Campbell trying to lay claim. He got a hand to it from the switch from O'Donnell. Selwood over the top to Rory Lobb.
Chips missed that one.
Yep.
Lee Fisher.
Kick inboard from Lobb, a turnover, and Seth Campbell does get his reward in the end. Now he can just centre this to Tim Taranto. He marks 10 metres closer to goal, directly in front in frustration. James O'Donnell giving a few of his fellow defenders a bit of a bake.
There's a famous Simpsons episode that talks about the World Cup.
Mm-hmm.
And it reminds me of the Richmond game style. Back to centre, back to wing.
Tigers only have 6 goals for the match. Tim Taranto looking to kick his first. Directly in front, 40 metres out. He steers through another for the Tigers. Their second goal of the final term. Trying to add a little bit more credibility to the scoreline. The Bulldogs by 44 points in front of 25,154 fans. The Bulldogs 13-14-92 to the Tigers 7-6-48. Nathan Burke and Cal Sinclair, your experts on ABC Sport.
Just on why we called Lee Fisher Chips, because we already had a Sam Fisher, so we already had a fish.
Oh, yeah.
We couldn't have 2 fish. So he became Chips.
I don't know, Plugger did some like specialist kind of coaching work at the Swans, and I had the yips for a little bit, and I just kind of, Plugger's here, so I'll have a chat to him. I said, what do you think? Just kick him.
So I get paid $5.
Don't overthink. No one could ever accuse Plugger of overthinking.
Back in the middle. English palms it down, then he gets it back. His kick is smothered by Prestia. Dolan comes running in for the Western Bulldogs. Just does enough to allow Liberatore in. He takes it. He's tackled to the ground. Ball spills out. Kennedy hand passes it to English, who hand passes it out to Bailey Williams. Bramble running alongside him. Williams decides to go long and just put the kick inside forward 50. Annan in front position. Brought the footy down. Fraser picked it up, and he's happy to take the tackle. The umpire will cross his arms and throw the ball up 30 metres out from the Western Bulldogs. Attacking goal. They're up by 44 points in front of a crowd of 25,154. So Koza was right. It's just below the 26,945 that were here earlier on today for Carlton's win against Gold Coast.
Lob one down the tap, but straight to Rechko of the Tigers. Kicks the ball that tumbles out towards the boundary line. Pike is shoved out of it by Bramble, but the ball rolls across the boundary line. It will result in a lasso free kick for the Dogs, though, so it did work in the end from Bramble, that little shove. Sanders takes the free kick, sends it inside 50. English rises and takes the mark in the right forward pocket. As the game continues on, a few of the Tigers are starting to look tired. And Tim English against LaFowl on this occasion gave them an old English lesson.
I must have done something wrong in a previous life. I just looked at my schedule.
Don't tell me. Got the Tigers again.
Richmond versus West Coast at the MCG.
I'll see you there,
Sunday.
Tim English goes the banana from the right forward pocket. He misses to the right-hand side. And the margin is 45 points the Bulldogs' way. 21 minutes gone in the final term.
Whatever I did, I'm sorry.
I'm flying back from Sydney after doing the AFLW international rules, so if my flight's delayed, Berkey, you might have to call it. It might bring some excitement for you.
I'll have a crack at that.
All right, deal. Ross brings it in. It's taken by Dolan. Hand passes it away to West, though. His hand pass a turnover. Taranto takes it. His hand pass no good. But Rechko's able to pick it up. Hand passes it to Cumming. Flicks it to Vlosten. They're moving it to the outer side of the ground here, the Tigers. Hand pass to Sonzi. Hand pass to Piker. He's holding on to the footy. Just gets a little kick away to left half forward. Mansell front position on bustling up. And the ball spills out of his hands and over the boundary for a throw-in at half forward for Richmond.
I'll ask you in the post-game about Pluggo. I've got a few questions.
Okay.
A few questions?
No, I do. I'm quite interested.
Yep.
I think the listeners will like this.
No.
Good. By the way, I would be terrible at doing what you do, Loz.
Oh, yeah, Berkey, you just signed yourself up, though. So.
No, I seriously, I would be terrible at it. I could not do it.
We'll see how next week goes. You might get a gig. As the kick comes down the wing, there's a free kick to Sam Davidson of the Western Bulldogs, who's a goal kicker tonight for his side. Kicks down the wing and lob marks just backwards of half forward. We'll kick into that right forward pocket where the Doggies have gone a lot tonight. And Croft couldn't take the mark. Spills out of bounds. And there'll be a throw-in inside forward 50 for the Dogs. They're kicking towards the Lockett end. Ahead by 45 points, 22 minutes played in this final term.
That previous goal for Tim Taranto was his 100th career goal in game 190 tonight. Thrown back in, English and Nankervis spills down to the front. Richko, hand pass back to Broad, top of the defensive goal square. Kicks out to Seth Campbell, who marks at right half back for the Tigers. The Bulldogs by 45 points, inboard to Vlosten. This is how Richmond's played their game tonight. And kicks out towards Sam Cumming, and over the top Dolan makes the spoil. The ball goes out of play. So what does tonight tell us about the Western Bulldogs?
Nothing.
Uneventful.
A third win on the trot tonight, which has them in touching distance of the top six, but
if you're going to try and beat top six team, you've got to beat Richmond by at least this much.
The challenge comes next week. They have the Fremantle Dockers in Perth. Taranto fed it back to Kyanan. Tackle, dispossessed. Taranto keeps going. Hand pass to Jaden Short. Kicks into the middle of the ground. Campbell creatively trying to slap it on to Tom Lynch. He's tackled and brought down by Selwood. Campbell can't regather as he tried to pick it up. Dolan was taken with non-possession. And the Bulldogs get the free kick on the wing.
So that's where Campbell, if he's going to improve his game, he had perfect opportunity to pick the ball up below his knees. He fumbled.
Dolan to O'Donnell. Spots off Fraser with a nice pass through the centre of the ground. He flares it out wide to Williams, who has it at right half forward. Just waits on the kick and then puts it into the right forward pocket, close to the boundary lob. Can't take the mark. Spills down to Brown, who just kicks it away to Sonzi. Can pick it up, moves it backwards to Short. He thumps it on his boot all the way down the outer side of the ground. Mansell had front position. He couldn't take the footy, which meant Bustlinger could get out the back, win it for the Western Bulldogs. Hand pass to Dolan, who takes a little bounce and then goes with a short chip kick to Richards. Can't mark it, easily recovers, then puts the pass inside forward 50, lob marks, hand passes it to Marcus Bontempelli, who kicks it all the way into the third tier. And the Western Bulldogs fans like that one. It brings the ground to life a little bit. And the Western Bulldogs are back out to an equal game-high 51-point lead after 24 minutes in the final term. 14-15-99, the Doggies. 7-6-48, the Tigers. It's 25 minutes played in the final term. Western Bulldogs 51 points to the good. Saturday night footy on ABC Sport.
It's become one of the with all the short kicking that we've got these days, to see a left footer get the footy and roll onto their left foot and pinpoint a 50, 60 metre dart into the forward line, we don't see it very often, but it's become one of the highlights of the game these days.
Back in the middle. Chance for Richmond to try and get a clearance here. Tucking the footy under his arms here is Sam Grill as he drives the kick inside 50 with the intersecting mark taken by O'Donnell against Tom Lynch. Spots Ed Richards at centre half back. Takes the mark for the Bulldogs. Curls on his left. Kicks out towards Fraser.
Oh, go.
Now he does move on Perky's instruction. He's got Aaron Norton and Rory Lobb. In fact, it's Rory Lobb as the deepest target. He got rid of Annan. At the back, Bontempelli. Hand pass to Kennedy. Some instruction from the Bond. Gave it away to Davidson. Snaps around his body. Can't clear Boston, who marks on the goal line. The goalkeeper to deny the Bulldogs a 15th goal. The margin 51 points as the mark is taken by Nick Vlostone.
He goes straight down the corridor looking for Nankervis. And the big ruck does mark it. Centre half back, hand passes it to Tom Brown. He puts it out wide. Mansell was there, but in came O'Donnell, who was able to take the mark, or he's paid the mark. He goes over the boundary. Mansell sits on top of him, and the two are in a tangle here. It's getting heated. Mansell still on top of O'Donnell. A few teammates come in. Lynch is there. In comes Croft as well. And then O'Donnell is let back up And it's a Mansell free kick. It's a Ryan Mansell free kick here.
They paid a lasso
against O'Donnell.
Against O'Donnell.
That should be a reverse free kick. Tom Lynch didn't come through the gates.
Well, that's a good pickup.
And the umpire acknowledged it and didn't call it.
So Mansell kicks down the line to right half forward. Taranto will pick it up. Hurried hand pass. Kennedy clears it up. Then Croft marks.
Yeah.
Jordan Croft over the top. Kennedy, look out. Coming the other way, Mansell has a point to prove. Ross with a hand pass over his shoulder. Got it to Sam Grill. Hand pass to Brown into the middle of the ground. A turnover. Taken by Bramble. Releases the run of Ed Richards. Looks up. Artie Jones in the middle of Docklands. And they're on the break here, the Bulldogs. He waits a kick out in front of Davidson. On the bounce, will it sit up for him? He gathers in front of Broad. Cuts back inboard. Chips it to Artie Jones off 15. He's tackled as he got his kick away. And in the end, Banks does enough to see the ball go out on the full. And the Dogs, another chance goes begging. 14 goals, 15 tonight. 99 to the Tigers, 7-6-48. The margin is 51 points the Doggies' way.
And Richmond retreats with the kick. Back to short. The right back pocket to Kai Anand, whose kick is an absolute shocker. It's skidded along the ground for Tom Brown. It allows an in for Liberatore across to Waitman. The hand pass comes down. Fraser going left, going right. Has to get a hand pass out. Brown picks it up. He's tackled, taken to the turf. Umpire says play on. Spills out. Croft has a go at it. Vlosson's in there for the Tigers. Can get a hand pass out to Sonzi, who flicks it out to short. Still in the left-back pocket, under all sorts of trouble, the Tigers. Hand pass back to Houghton. They're still in defensive 50. He shoves it on his boot. It's a wobbly old-looking kick for Sonzi. Ricochets back to Lobb. Hand pass to Waitman. His kick is smothered. Spills down to ground. Still players are digging in and trying to grab it. Williams is one of them. In the end, there's a holding the footy free kick or a dropping the footy free, which was all that messy that could have gone either way. But it is Tyler Sonzi that gets the free kick for Richmond.
It has felt like a kamikaze game at various stages tonight. Sonzi up towards Lafau, can't complete the mark. Kennedy front and centre. Hand pass for the Bulldogs out to Bramble. Looks up. Bailey Williams the target. And he marks inside 50 out to the right. He might just be content to take 30 seconds and try and soak some of the time out of this final term. A 51-point lead the Western Bulldogs' way. Dogs happy to see him back after missing with a hamstring injury. Such an important player, especially in the absence of Bailey Dale. In the end, he decides to put it to the teeth of goal. Bontempelli stands up and takes the mark at the top of the goal square, despite there being about 15 players around him.
He didn't even have to jump for that one. He just read it better than everyone else in the vicinity.
The Tigers defenders have hands on hips in frustration. Bontempelli hasn't kicked a goal tonight.
Yes, he has.
He's got one, does he?
Yeah. He ran into open goal.
I did indeed. Very second, the Bulldogs captain comes in and sends it through. And their 15th goal of the match as they crack the ton. 15-15, 105 to the Tigers, 7-6-48. 5 goals to 2 in the final quarter, the way of the Western Bulldogs. And Marcus Bontempelli with 29 disposals. And yes, 2 goals now for the game as the Dogs lead by 57 points. Nathan Burke and Cal Sinclair with you on ABC Sport.
Well, one thing the Tigers have done is they've evened up the clearances. They were getting smashed early on, especially out the middle, 10-2, but they've evened them up. So it's a good win that Uze can look at after half-time, because that's all they can do is just try and look for these small wins here and there, and clearance evening up, that's probably one.
The Western Bulldogs close to their 12th win of the season as play restarts in the middle. Liberatore takes it, hand passes it to Richards. Another inside 50. Bontempelli can't finish the mark here. Falls to ground. Croft in the end does the tackling. And the Western Bulldogs win in a scrappy affair under the roof at Docklands. It's a 57-point win to the Doggies, who were never challenged by Richmond.
Red, white and blue. We come out strong. Bulldogs through and through. Bulldogs bite and Bulldogs roar. We give our very best. 'Cause you can't beat the boys of the Bulldog breed. We're the
Richmond marks the Dogs' third consecutive victory, an important one as well, as the Doggies look to climb up the ladder and try and secure a top 6 finish. They really never challenged by Richmond, who did kick the first goal of the game through McCulty Lafau, but from then on it was the Western Bulldogs who were able to lead. They were up by 2 points at quarter time, a lead that expanded to 31 points by half time, 38 by the end of three-quarter time, and 57 points at the end of the match despite some inaccurate kicking. It is the Western Bulldogs winners, 15-15, 105 to Richmond 7-6, 48.
We come out snarling, Bulldogs through and through. Bulldogs bite and Bulldogs roar. We give our very best. 'Cause you can't beat the boys of the Bulldog breed. We're the team of the mighty West. 'Cause you can't beat the boys of the Bulldog breed. The team of the mighty
In front of 25,154 fans here at Docklands, the second match under the roof today after Carlton defeated the Gold Coast a little earlier on today. The Western Bulldogs goal kickers for tonight. They had a few multiple goal kickers. Cody Waitman kicked 2. Marcus Bontempelli kicked 2. Both are the final 2 goals of the game. Riley West had a couple. Ed Richards had 2. And then it was singles to Cooper Hines, Jordan Croft, Josh Dolan, Arthur Jones, Aaron Norton, Sam Davidson and Tim English. Richmond, their goal kickers, they had a couple of multiples in the form of Tom Lynch, who kicked 2, and McCulty Lafau, who also kicked a couple. Then Tim Taranto, Ryan Mansell and Sam Lawler, all with singles for the Tigers, whose record is now 2-17 on the season. It is Western Bulldogs winners by 57 points.
The Bulldogs make it 3 wins on the trot. As Law said, they move to their 12th win of the season. Now won their last 5 matchups between they and the Tigers. Cal Sinclair and Nathan Burke with their assessment of the Bulldogs' 57-point victory.
Well, they did what they had to do. A 10-goal win was probably par for coming in today, especially if you're a team that's vying for a top 6 spot. And you need to win, and you need to win big, so you probably think 10 goals is thereabouts, and that's pretty much what they did, 57 points. Got through, no injuries that Cova was able to spot, so job done there for the Western Bulldogs. They'll move on to next week pretty quickly. I think there's probably no need to go over that game and review it to the nth degree or anything like that. It'll just be job done now. Who we play next week? Let's look at them, look at their opposition report and do all that sort of stuff. That's how I would handle it if I'm Luke Beveridge. Put that one in the vault and move on. For the Tigers, it's a little bit same old. I just don't know what they're trying to do, especially moving the ball forward. Whether Uze is scared that they've only got one key forward and he's a waning key forward. Lafau is not a key forward, but he's being asked to play that sort of role. And so whether he's saying, listen, we can't play the way that I want to play or get the ball in there quickly or anything like that because it's just going to come out quickly. I think you've just got to do it. You've just got to teach the midfielders how to play that way. If it comes back out, well, then so be it. At least you're getting the ball inside 50. But I just see they're directionless. There's no handballing through the middle of the ground. It's get it, maintain possession, go sideways, backwards, just hang on to the ball for the sake of hanging on to the ball. It's almost like if we have 50% possession and they have 50% possession, well, then we've won the game. It's not how the game's played. You've got to get the ball inside 50 and you've got to be able to score. So I want to see a bit more dynamic, because one thing the Tigers do have, they don't have the tools, but they have the nippy fast guys who can run past. Get Mansell and all these guys up the ground, get them running past, get Short running past. Short is one of the best kicks in the game, but he's short by name, short by nature. He kicks it short far too often. Vlosten and Broad just want to do the easy thing and kick the ball to each other going sideways. So I want to see the Tigers actually linking up handball through the middle of the ground. The first goal they probably kicked of the game, when I can't remember who got out the back, but they actually chained the ball from a half back line. It was handball, and then long kick into the forward line to a player running back into the goal square. It was probably the best goal of the game because they actually chained the ball out and ran it with hands. Did not see that again for the rest of the game. So if you're a Tiger supporter and you're asking me what sort of game style are we trying to build, I'm sorry, I can't give you an answer on that one.
Yeah, I think it's a good summation on both teams, Berkey. I think the Bulldogs, it'll be a huge juxtaposition about what they're going to face at Optus Stadium in really only a few days' time. It's going to be a big task for them. And they are the kind of team that, and hear me out here, they're the kind of team that could probably go there and, I guess, challenge. And you never know, they might pinch a win over there. You just don't know with teams like the Bulldogs. Like, they're just a little bit unpredictable. They're a little bit not as bad as the Giants with their unpredictability of performances, but they've got that little bit about them. But didn't really feel like... I look at Richmond and it's not a great style to watch. And you look at it and you kind of scratch your head a little bit. For me, it feels like the players are very, very timid with ball in hand. They're very, very worried about sort of making an error or making a mistake. And I said this at the start of the game that I reckon they've got to train contest a lot more than this sort of system that they want to do, because I don't think their system is not really evident at the moment. I think there's a lot of guys that sort of the instinct of how they play has been taken away from them. And I don't mean that like as in that's an intentional decision that the coaches have sort of done, but it just feels like they're not sort of playing with that flair or dash that probably got them, got all these high draft picks to the club, and that sort of ability that sort of got them there in the first place. And yeah, I do agree with you, Berkey. If you're a Richmond fan, I can understand why you're not turning up at the moment, because you just sort of not really, it's not an inspiring way to sort of, watch your footy. But either way, I thought Eddie Richards was superb tonight, 32 touches and 2 goals. And tell you what, he stands out when he gets the ball with that raking left boot. And Marcus Bontempelli, I thought, wasn't overly evident in the game, but I thought late he just continues just to work them over and just build his stat sheet every week. 29 disposals and 2 goals as well. Bramble had 27, and then really after that it was Vlosten had 27 touches, but probably 26 of them were from his mate Brody down at the back there. And it's going to be an interesting few weeks for the Doggers. Can they pull something out of the hat and challenge a few teams above them? Who knows?
As the Dogs make their way from Docklands, winners by 57 points, 15-15, 105 to the Tigers, 7-6-48. Their 12th win of the season, so that has them inside the top 10. They'll try and get clear of the wildcard spots and potentially climb their way up the ladder inside the top 6. But a Friday night date with the Fremantle Dockers awaits. Let's join the Bulldogs as they make their way in with Ian Cohen.
Thanks very much, Clinchy. It's a real feeling of having got the job done. I think there's not huge jubilation in the room. So we're going to speak to Lockie Bramble, who was really impressive. 27 touches, as you said. So we're going to talk to him after the song. The boys are just forming up. The other boys that didn't play in their pale sky blue in behind. But here's the Dogs after their defeat of the Richmond Football Club.
Bulldogs through and through, we sing. Bulldogs fight and Bulldogs rock. We give the very best. But you can't be the boys of the Bulldog Privilege team in the Mighty West.
So there you go, and polite rounds of applause. As I said, not massive exuberation, but I think they're going to be pretty happy with getting away with the 4 points, as they say in the classics. And we'll speak to Lockie Bramble in just a moment.
Thanks, Koza. We'll be back with you momentarily. The Dogs 57-point winners in front of 25,154 fans. So the Bulldogs play well when their best players play well, but the question's around their structure, because they sort of have what they have for the moment. Connor Buderick is 4 to 6 weeks away. Bailey Dale's 4 to 6 weeks away. Sam Darcy's out for the season. So they've got Cody Waitman back. They've got Bailey Williams back. Tom Liberatore's returned. Question will be, can they challenge the top 4 or 5 sides, or are they what they appear to be tonight in a scrappy encounter against the Tigers. They do enough to see off their opponents.
I still don't see them challenging the top teams.
Hold fire, Berkey. We'll come back because I think we can take you straight back down to the Bulldogs rooms with Ian Cohen.
Yeah, as I said, clean bill of health earlier. Cody Waitman's got some ice on the left knee, and it looks like Riley West is also getting some ice applied to a lower calf. But Lockie Bramble, 27 touches this evening. Well done. What do you take out of the win tonight?
Yeah, another one in the bank, which is nice. They're important games to win. Coming to the pointy end now, you sort of need to win every game. You don't really want to play in that, in that from 10 to 6. So trying to get in the top 6, you need to win every game. So that was a nice step forward tonight.
What about for you, for your charter? What's Luke Beveridge said to you? Because obviously you were instrumental with the 27, a lot of rebounding work from you. What's your charter?
Yeah, I think it's just a lot of sort of taking that role that Digger and Bailey Dale and Connor Butterick play. So sort of get the ball in my hands a little bit more and have a bit of a licence to create and get up the ground. So I feel like I did that pretty well tonight and hopefully continues.
Well, you certainly did plenty of that tonight. We'll go upstairs, Callum Sinclair and also Nathan Burke.
Lockie, Nathan Burke here, mate. Congratulations tonight. 13 touches in that second quarter, mate. You were on fire there. You must have been pretty chuffed going in at half-time after that.
Yeah, it was nice, Berkey. Thank you. Look, I didn't get a lot of the pool last week, so it was nice to get a bit this week. Even though we won last week, I probably needed to create a bit more and get the ball in my hands with those two guys I mentioned out. So, it was nice to get the ball tonight.
And where you are sitting on the ladder at the moment, so you're in amongst some sort of really good teams, but your percentage isn't great. Does something like percentage ever get mentioned amongst the group, or is it all about the process and then the percentage happens, or do we say, hey, this is an opportunity for us to have a bit of a bigger win?
A little bit. Percentage didn't really get mentioned today, but we just want to keep winning games and keep banking games. We know we've got a tough one next week, and I guess once the foot was on the throat tonight, it was a bit of a rehearsal for next week, being really stingy on defensive layers and getting everything right around the ball. So it's going to be a tough ask next week, but I think we're up for the challenge.
Lockie, Cal Sinclair here. Congratulations on your own performance and the team as well. Hey, I'm curious about next week. Berkey made the point of his suggestion about how you tackle it going this week. Do you think Bevo does the move on pretty quickly and start focusing on the Dockers, mate? Because we were saying you're probably the team that's a little bit unpredictable, and we feel like you guys could probably go up there and maybe pinch something. What are your thoughts?
I think we might move on pretty quick. We do rehearse. We do look at the games pretty thoroughly, and no matter how big the margin is or how much we lose by. So we'll probably just stick to the process and do the right things. But we obviously know in the back of our mind tonight that next week's a huge challenge, and we'd love to go up there and pinch that win. It'd be nice and get another one on the board for us.
Hey, I always watch a player that sort of fascinates me, and I haven't spoken about him too much, but Michael Selwood, for me, I've watched him for a number of weeks. He seems like every club has a pest, and I just feel like he's probably the player. How he plays he's a niggler. He gets stuck in. Is he like that with the boys? Is he a bit of a pain in the backside of the change room? Give us some insight.
Oh yeah, he ruffles a few feathers, but we love him. He's an important part of this team, and from day dot when he come in, he was a bit of a smart ass. So he's copped his right whack, but he's funny around the change rooms, and what you see is what you get. He likes to stir the pot and get into the opposition face as well, and we look to him for that as well to kickstart them if we need some energy. He's the one to start it, so he's really important for us.
Lockie Bramble's with us from the Western Bulldogs rooms, winners by 57 points. Lockie, it's Matt Clinch. Rory Lobb's sort of been moved more as a second forward and a second ruck to try and help out your forward line. How's your back line adjusted over time?
I think it's been good. I think, with Jod down there and Bus coming in as well, Sellers is playing sort of tall when he needs to, and he's going pretty well as well. So, we need Lobby to, play wherever we need him. So he's been good in the ruck. He's been good forward for us. And when he needs to come back, he'll come back and do a job. So I think we've adjusted quite well, and it's nice to get games into, guys like Jed Buslinger and Jod down there. So I think they're going pretty well.
And unfortunately, Bailey Dale being out of the lineup, Connor Buderick is 4-6. So sort of you've got your team that you've got at the moment with the return of Tom Liberatore tonight. Do you feel like that core group is starting to build a little bit of confidence as you look to attack the last 4 rounds?
Yeah, I think so. We've got a lot of spirit with this group, and we're really tight-knit. So we'll just keep pushing forward, and hopefully we can get them back at the pointy end of the year. Fingers crossed, but who knows? So we'll just keep attacking with what we've got, and guys below as well are pushing for spots too. We've got some good guys playing good footy, so we'll be okay.
Did Bevo have any theme tonight? It can often be hard when you're playing the side on the bottom of the ladder and they play a somewhat scrappy style of game and you're wanting to try and boost your percentage if you possibly can, but it didn't feel like it was that sort of game at times.
Nah, he did have a theme. I'm shocking at remembering him. There was something to do with the chess piece and what the pawn does, and I'm not a chess guy myself, so I didn't really take much in. So I'm just trying to think about my game and what I can do to help the team. So there was a theme with the chess piece, but I can't remember.
Now the real question is, if there was a chess sort of player amongst the Bulldogs crew, who do you think it might be?
He did throw a question to the group, and Ed Richards answered it. So he's pretty switched on, Ed.
Yeah, not surprised by that. Lockie, thanks for your time. Good luck against the Dockers. We look forward to you taking the test in the West next week.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Lockie Bramble joining us from the Bulldogs rooms. Winners by 57 points. He had 27 disposals and 531 metres gained in the Bulldogs win over the Tigers.
The test in the West.
I thought you were going to go back to the chess piece.
No, I liked it.
Well, thank you.
You were thinking about that all week.
Well, we've only spent 10 hours together and you finally give me a compliment, so that's nice of you. But Luke Beveridge would be content, wouldn't he? I mean, they get the win. Could you do much more than that? You could have won by a little bit more, but in the end, the challenges are going to come in the next 4 weeks, and it starts with the Fremantle Dockers. But after that, they have their next 3 games in Melbourne. So North Melbourne, Carlton, and then the Demons at the MCG. So 2 of them are going to give us a better indication as can they challenge the best sides?
We'll see. This is probably the test because Melbourne, they're not one of the best sides. I think they're probably going to get a little bit tired as the
Melbourne are one of those top 10 sides they have beaten, though. That was here at Docklands. So the Demons were beating opposition at the MCG, but the Bulldogs got them on that occasion.
Yeah, I envisage Melbourne getting a little bit tired as the season goes on. I think they've done extremely well at this point, but teams are going to close in on them, I think. But look, there's no doubt they'll be in the top 10, absolutely. The aim is to get into that top 6 because you don't want to be playing that extra game 7 to 10. That's going to be a nightmare scenario for the Bulldogs.
Yeah,
good that Libba got through today. I think he's a really important player for them. He had enough possessions. Libba, what was he up to in the end? He had 23, was it?
23.
A lot of handballs. So Libba gets it and he feeds it out, and somebody else goes and runs and kicks. He can't kick over Jam Tin at the moment. He's sort of getting a bit old, the old legs. Not like they used to be, but he still knows how to get the footy and knows how to get the contested footy. So come finals time, when it's a bit more congested and you've got to actually win the hard footy, they need him up and about. He's such an important player.
Do you sign him up for next year, Berkey? What do you think? What are your thoughts?
You've got to look at the whole list profile. How many midfielders do they have? How many in and under ball winners do they actually have? And based on that, the whole list profile and what you can actually bring in. So Sanders is the guy who's probably going to take over from him, but didn't have a great game tonight. Sanders wasn't really sort of trotted around a little bit. How many possessions did he have there, Lives?
15 in the end, so but 15, wasn't seen a lot.
15 for a midfielder, it's not a lot. Whether that hand is sort of hampering him a little bit, who knows? But, you've got a guy like Libba, if he wants to go on a list of 45 players, I'm pretty sure I'd let him go round again.
The Bulldogs winners by 57 points. It feels like so much of the Dogs' narrative this season has been around the players they might acquire at season's end. So Zach Butters, if he comes across from Port Adelaide, what that might do for the Bulldogs, and then the potential chase of a key defender to try and help in defence. And Jordan Butts has been the name mentioned from the Adelaide Crows in which they might be trying to chase. With the return of Sam Darcy, this has been the perennial challenge for Luke Beveridge. They've never been a top 4 side under him. They've won a premiership, though, but the challenge for them to try and build this season and maybe win a final? What would be the pass mark for the Dogs this year, given they have suffered some injuries that has upset their team balance?
Oh, look, I think if they got into that wild card position, I think that's probably the pass mark. I think they're a side that's capable of playing finals regularly with the list that they've got. I just think the start of the year really smashed them. Like Sam Darcy was probably the biggest whack to them being out of that side when it occurred. But one thing that I think is, is the defence needs a key defender. And there's a guy at the Swans playing in the reserves at the moment, Lewis Melican. And I just feel like he is a player that would probably benefit from a fresh start. He seems to be a little bit out of favour at the moment. Edwards has sort of come in for the Swans and has done a terrific job and very, very deserving of his spot. But, Lewis would be close to 100 games, very, very experienced. He's played finals, never lets you down when he comes into when he comes in at AFL level. I just feel like he'd be a great pinch. And someone like the Bulldogs should really look at him, because I just think that he'd be really due for a fresh start. He's had some injury concerns with his hamstrings, but he'd be a free whack. I honestly think a key defender like him and the way he plays would be a great addition for the Doggies.
Jed Bustlinger played his 7th game of the season tonight, his 14th of his career, so sort of feels like Bevo's made the decision, righto. 22 years of age, 198 centimetres. We'll give him a crack, and hopefully he can be in our side come finals, depending on where they finish on the ladder.
Yeah, so he, Selwood, these guys, are they going to jump up and be your Josh Battles? That's where they need to get to. So pushing All-Australian at some stage, that's the type of halfback flanker, float across, intercept player that premiership teams have. So that can they rise to that level? Because as much as we talk about, need a midfielder and get Darcy back and all that sort of stuff, you'll find that most premiership teams have that really gun halfback flanker that you just can't stop.
And they did it without really a big contribution from Aaron Norton. He kicked 1 goal, 3. Rory Lobb kicked 3 behinds. And in the end, Bontempelli finished with the last 2 goals of the match to top up his numbers, 29 disposals, 3 clearances. He had 556 metres alongside his 10 score involvements and 9 inside 50s.
You mentioned Richmond being timid and worried when they're using the ball. Just Adam Uze seems to make quite a few changes each week. So you look at West Coast, which has tried to just say unchanged as much as it can, and then you've got Richmond, who Tyler Sonzi was back in today. Zane Piker comes in for his 2nd game. Luke Traynor, Jasper Alga has been dropped to the reserves a couple of weeks ago. Is there merit in going for the final 4 games of the season, tapping a few of these guys on the shoulder and going, don't worry about what you do, don't worry about making a mistake, you're in the side for the last 4 games, and backing them in that way?
Yeah, honestly, it's a benefit. Like I think it does take the pressure off a player when a coach says that to you and says, hey, we're going to give you 5 or 6 weeks to actually prove yourself. But I think it's more of and it's a really good point, Loz. I think that would be, yes, a really, really good thing to do to a number of players, because there's probably some players in the list that you're not actually quite sure about. Now's the time to go, you know what, 5 or 6 weeks left. Show us what you've got. But I just feel like the system element that they're trying to put in place, because I can see them when they're out there, they're caught in between sort of making a decision, and that's with and without the ball. Like defensively, like they don't know when to sort of press and put pressure on the ball. They're not sure what cues to read. Like, for example, a team like Western Bulldogs, when they go into a handball game, when you see that as a team, that's when you press and go, all right, we're going to actually make this extreme. But when they are going into that handball game, they're retreating back to goal, and then they go, oh, I've got to come forward, and they're just caught in between. Then players get out the back. The guys with the ball have got enough time and space to make a really clear decision. So I think that they need to deliver a message to say, hey, you're all here for a reason, is that you're good footballers. You know how to actually find the footy. Let's pull back in our system a little bit and actually go out there and play with instinct and fun. At the moment, it doesn't look like a fun game style to play, Loz. It looks really, really... like if you're a forward at the moment, like Tom Lynch must be sitting there going, I don't know when this is going to come in. Like we're marching it around the side. Like it looks like we're playing a World Cup game there at some point. So I just feel like they just need to be a little bit more daring. Yeah, it might be ugly. And Berkey, you said it before, like just go and do it. It might be ugly. People like us watching the game will probably comment and go, oh, why did they make that decision, blah, blah. But I think they take a bigger picture view and go, you know what, like we need guys to try these sorts of things, because the only way they're actually going to learn about the decisions and how to play on instinct and all that sort of stuff is to actually go out there and do it. I don't think they're going to get it by sort of going backwards.
Yep.
And we were laughing at some point,
Yep.
which is actually, not a great look.
We touched on some of the numbers before the game got underway. Ronnie Lerner has reposted those on X. So Richmond now 9 wins and 56 losses under Adam Uze. Their 8th 50-point loss of the season and 22nd in total since Uze took control in 2024. So on his numbers, every third game under Adam Uze has a loss of 50 points or more. So the question is as next year, some of those injury challenges which we touched on this year, Ben Serpil there, head of fitness and high performance, has been let go, so they have obviously had such a challenging year in terms of injury, but that pressure just does start to mount about what sort of style of footy are they trying to play and what does their game style stand up for under Adam Uze.
And let's talk about Adam Uze for a second. He didn't set this strategy, I don't think. Like, he would have come in as they've sort of probably said it. So, I'm sure it's probably... I don't feel like we should be targeting Adam Uze. So he's really dealing with the cards and the strategy that...
But he's in his third year of coach. So at the end of the day, how you judge him is wins and losses. And as they always say, the losses will start to get you in the end, as Brad Scott would attest to. If there's not enough evidence on the ground that the team is building a direction and a style which is going to at least lead to some sort of success.
And I don't necessarily judge them on the winning and losing. I judge them on the closeness of the loss.
Yeah.
So more honourable loss to me shows improvement. If they
Well, their percentage is worse than last year.
That's the thing. It's getting closer to actually winning the games rather than the other way.
But I guess the point I'm making, look at Essendon, Clinchy, right? Like, Brad Scott came out and said that he had disagreements with the strategy that they went down with, I guess, the choice to retain Merritt and a few other things that I'm sure that he spoke about. So Adam Uze might not have actually agreed to, I guess, go down that sort of strategy. But what I'm saying is those are the cards that you sort of dealt with. And I just think sometimes we are a little bit harsh on sort of head coaches. Yes, they take a lot of accountability, but in his particular situation, like maybe he actually wasn't, and I don't actually know this, but he can only really do with the cards that he's sort of actually been dealt with. There's a lot of conversations that I think go behind the scenes where I guess media and public don't actually see. So I'd just be, trying to be empathetic towards him, because he'd be going home and like scratching his head a little bit, going, I actually just wouldn't know what to kind of say to my players at the moment.
The challenges might continue coming for him depending on what happens at season's end. Decisions around Nathan Broad, Tom Lynch as to how longer these senior guys, Toby Nankervis maybe to a lesser extent, look to continue their career as they try and support the younger group coming through. The Bulldogs winners by 57 points. Talking about the Tigers, Ian Cohen's made his way to the Richmond rooms. What's it like down there, Koza?
Very different to the Bulldogs rooms, as you would suggest, Matty, but some sort of forlorn resignation. There's only a small group of, obviously, supporters, family and friends. Tom Brown came out of the team meeting, and so too Sam Lawler, but they're the only two that have walked past me to go into what's considered the public area in behind the barricades there, and obviously talk to family and friends. The team meeting was still on when I walked in, so that's a fairly substantial team meeting, you would have thought, given the fact that we've been in the Bulldogs room, sung the song, done an interview, and then come into the Richmond rooms, and they were still behind closed doors with Coach Adam Uze. So they've hardly come out en masse at all. There's obviously a lot of the staff just standing around, looking at each other, completing their jobs. I mean, the review will happen. There's probably half a dozen laptops that are open now, and they'll be working out how they can improve and how they can, stop what is at the moment seemingly uncontrollable situation where they just can't seem to find a way to win. And for the proud Richmond Footy Club, obviously there's going to be a lot of people that are hurting in these rooms. So, some full-on resignation. There's some young fans, obviously, that it's late for them on a Saturday night. They're hoping to see some of their heroes and stars, but at the moment, very much the rest of the team is staying in behind into the players-only area with only a couple that have come out. So it continues for Richmond. They need to find a way to get out of it, and obviously all these people are going to be working very hard tonight and tomorrow to try and make that happen.
Thanks, Koza. Thanks for your work across the night. Richmond now 2 wins and 17 losses. They've lost their last 8 games since last tasting success against the Bombers back in round 11. The Tigers have the West Coast Eagles at the MCG next week, so that's a chance for a win, 18th versus 16th. That being said, the Eagles have shown some signs of improvement, and they try to take it up to the Dockers in the Derby. The Adelaide Crows, St Kilda and Geelong are their last 4 games. So a couple of tough ones there against the Cats and the Crows there. Matt Clinch and Lauren Borden, Cal Sinclair and Nathan Burke. The Western Bulldogs 57-point winners if you just flicked on the radio. 15-15, 105 to the Tigers, 7-6-48. 2 goals to Waitman, Bontempelli, West and Richards in the Dogs' big win over the Tigers, while Tom Lynch and McKelty-Lafau were the multiple goal kickers for the Tigers. Anything else we want to touch on around tonight's game? Do we want to do the votes for the ABC Footballer of the Year, or we'd like to come back to that?
For a big fella, he's very sharp with the handball.
He's given it off already.
Handballs are off straight away. Easy one tonight. I've given Bontempelli 1, Bramble 2, Richards 3.
Bont 1, Bramble 2, Richards 3. There you go from Nathan Burke in the ABC Football of the Year. As simple as that. In the Bulldogs' 57th point victory has them to 12-7, and they are knocking on the door of the top 6. They're in 7th spot at the moment, but percentage separating those 4 sides: Brisbane, Adelaide, Melbourne and the Western Bulldogs.
Just on Lockie Bramble and the chat we had with him, Clinchy, you mentioned the chess at the end where he went, there was some sort of theme. I can't really remember it that well. Yep. How much time did Luke Beveridge put into that theme during the week? I've got chess pieces. We've got kings, queens, pawns, whatever they're called when it comes to chess. I'm obviously like Lockie Bramble. I don't play it either.
There's no prawns in.
There's no prawns.
Pawns, not prawns.
That's what I was going for there.
You know who's a big chess player is Sam Mitchell. Flying back from Tasmania when Hawthorn played Adelaide. He refused to say hello because he said, I'm in a big chess game against one of their assistant coaches that they do on their phone.
Believe it or not, Lance Franklin is a massive chess player.
Wow. Right.
Yeah, it's one of his things. Like, you would never have thought like Lance Franklin being really into chess. He would spend it, particularly in those COVID years when you're in the hubs, hours and hours
with the chessboard,
sitting there on the chessboard playing people, and it was just him. You'd never seen him. You weren't allowed to talk to him. He could not be distracted. But I think what you were alluding to earlier, Loz, was some crazy themes that maybe coaches. I just think they all lose their marbles at some point in time, and they got to find. It's actually really, really hard. I could imagine that every single week. Come up with something, because the reality is everyone's got the let's and I guess everyone's got the same cliches, everyone's got the same things. So you do need something to sort of, I guess, energise your group. Like over my time, like the Horse and Adam Simpson weren't massive on like crazy sort of themes, but there's always the odd funny video that got put up just before the like it was someone's 100th game or something like that. They just get crazy photos of them, and that's sort of just like it just sort of calms the farm in the room a little bit. But I did hear Damien Hardwick once, I think, dressed up in a Scottish outfit, I think trying to do a Braveheart thing.
Well known for some odd ones
like that.
Berkey,
you'd have been a bit quirky when you were coaching, mate. Imagine.
No, not overly.
I can't see Berkey getting dressed up for a pre-match rev-up.
No. I when I was coaching the girls, I let them do it.
Oh, yeah.
And the girls tended to get more of a kick out of the other girls come out with something than me.
Yeah.
Some old fella coming out with something. And so, we had Gabby Newton put on a video about crabs that work together.
Inspirational.
And it works. And then when the girls went out and kicked the goal,
the crabs!
See the crabs?
I remember
the
that.
Girls were doing the crab hands and the crab fingers after they kicked the goal. So that wasn't me. That came from another player. So you give them license to come up with stuff. It's far better than them sitting back going, okay, coach, what do you got for us this week? It's the last thing you want.
I'm not running through a brick wall for someone who's talking about chess.
No.
I think there's certain players that maybe respond to it. But.
Yeah, and there's some players, no matter what you said, it wouldn't matter.
Hey, question on Tony Lockett that I wanted to ask you a bit earlier. But, like, players that, like, leave footy clubs, like, I think these days it's sort of, like, players... Look, I don't care what it says. Players don't care. Like, they just don't care if players leave. And, yeah, you might, be, it's a bit frustrating, things like that. But the game is too professional now, and there's a lot of commercial arrangements involved. And I think that the loyalty element of football is slowly going out the door. I think you got 1 or 2 players per club, in my view, that completely love and invested and passionate jumper. I don't think it is what it is like back in, particularly in the era that you played in, Berkey. But I'm just curious to know, when Plugger left the Saints, like, what was that like as a player? Because were you shocked? Did you see it coming? Like, do you actually remember what it was? Because he was the biggest figure into the game, and definitely your best player. Like, I'm just curious to know your memories of that time.
I didn't think he would go, because wherever he went, because the reason why Plugger hated football. Look, he loved playing football, but he hated everything else that went on with football.
Like getting recognised.
I remember we played a practice match up the country, and we had to postpone the match because the rooms that we were in were surrounded by the public from the town, banging on the walls of the tin shed, chanting "Plugger, Plugger, Plugger," and we couldn't start the game until they cleared everyone away from the shed. It was just maniacal. It was ridiculous. And everywhere he went, he was just mobbed, and more so than any player today that you actually see. And he hated it. Absolutely hated that side of it. Get him on the oval, that was his safe space, but then get him off. And so I thought, look, there was a lot of talk that he was going to go to Collingwood. I thought that's just going to make it worse. Collingwood fans and everything else. Fortunately, he ended up at the Swans, because I guarantee you he would not have lasted as long in the game if he had stayed in Victoria. Going up and talking to him, he said, I can go out for lunch and go and grab a sandwich down the road. No one knows who I am.
Particularly back then.
Back then, no one had any idea who he was. So he could actually play football and enjoy anonymity off the field for a period of time. It grew once they knew who he was. But without that anonymity away from, he would not have lasted. He would have lasted a year at Collingwood, I reckon.
But when he was making that decision, was it like a season-long thing, like Zach Butters is going through sort of now? Like, did you guys know when you were playing? Was it more end of the year, guys, catch you later?
Yeah, it was. Look, he honestly had probably 2 or 3 down years that he had kicked 100 goals sort of, regularly before that. But there were a couple of years there where he was injured constantly, and they weren't great years. And the whole thing just sort of combined into something has to change. Something has to change. And I think that was the catalyst for it. It was more the down years of playing that sort of... I honestly didn't think he'd go, because I knew how much he hated the limelight, but in the end it was the best thing for him.
Was it Eddie Maguire, the journalist, that he threw the crutcher at?
Yeah, yep, that sort of thing. Like, he's on crutches, and he's got media breaking down the door of his house to get to him. It was feral. It was unbelievably feral, and that was when he threw the crutch at Eddie. Unfortunately, he missed.
The only one I could think of that would have dealt with that sort of media attention was Nick Naitanui. Like, when in Perth at that time, like I was, this guy couldn't even fill up his car at the petrol station. Like, it was absolutely arrogant. And whenever we had a kid, a clinic or a kids' day or a family day, like, he had to get security to literally usher him around every sort of station. And I could just imagine, and he did it with like complete and utter class, but I could just imagine there would be times where he's going, this is just completely out of control. And when Nick Naitanui enters a room, I tell you what, like, he enters a room, and he's got a lot of presence and the dreadlocks. It's just it was the amount of people that I just saw that gravitate towards him. I could just imagine how exhausting it would have been, particularly in a market like Perth. When it's just absolute footy mayhem. And but to his credit, he handled it really, really, really well. But particularly, during those years where he had significant injuries, like media would go for him at the same time as well. Like, they loved him when things were going great, but they were the first to sort of have a crack at him when his groins were playing up and he's past it. But he'd be the one guy that I could yeah, like any sort of practice match, like he couldn't leave the footy club after training. You know, people waiting in his car. Like he couldn't even, he had to have a private car park at times. It was outrageous.
Yep. For me, my 6 years in Adelaide, seeing Tony Modra and how much he was loved in Adelaide makes you wonder what it would have been like in his heyday when he was at the peak of his powers. The Bulldogs win us by 57 points here over the Tigers. Good story time, Cal. Let's get some reaction from
story.
Adam Uze, the Richmond coach.
The pattern is against the really good teams, we have a really ordinary or horrendous quarter, whether it's through contest or whether it's through territory or through turnover. Our second quarter, we just let ourselves down and it was deflating. Our first quarter, we had pressure. Like we come with the right mindset. We knew what they were trying to do. And we did. We put them under the pump. And then in the second quarter, the pressure was still pretty high. Tried to put them in a fight, but then it was just our skill execution. So, yeah, the second quarter really cost us. But to the boys' credit, in the second half, we have a shot in the last quarter to go under 5 goals and have a little bit of momentum. But, really frustrating. When I say frustrated, I feel frustrated for our lads because the effort and intent was at the level that it needs to be. Their execution just was a lot better than ours, and scores from turnover in that second quarter was almost the story of the game.
Adam Uze, the Richmond coach there. In that second quarter, the Tigers were scoreless. It was 16-9 inside 50s as the Bulldogs put on 4 goals, 5 to Richmond. They had 102 disposals, the Dogs, to Richmond's 89. The tackles were 15-13, the way the Bulldogs in that second quarter. So some of the metrics in which the Tigers fans will be looking to try and judge their side in the last 4 rounds of the home and away season. The Bulldogs by 57 points here over the Tigers at Docklands. Plenty of other international sport taking place, including the Commonwealth Games. And here's Mitch Turner, who can take us through a wrap of day 2.
Thanks, Clinchy. It's been more dominance for Australia on day 2 of the Commonwealth Games in Glasgow. The Diamonds in the netball got their games underway in dominant fashion, making light work of Tonga. A 99-38 victory, piling on the pain across the 4 quarters, shooting at 94%. Kate Maloney continuing her strong form from the Vixens season, controlling the midcourt. It gave coach Stacey Marinkovic a chance to rotate her lineup and look at multiple different combinations across the court. Sophie Dwyer and Cara Conan getting plenty of time in attack in the second half. So too Sarah Clow and Matilda Garrett in defence. They looked the team to beat as they chase a 5th Commonwealth Games gold medal. The Aussies back in action tomorrow against world number 3 England, who play shortly against Northern Ireland. Perhaps the Diamonds' biggest challenger, world number 2 New Zealand, crushed host nation Scotland earlier, 74-44 to get their campaign underway. In the pool, the Aussies dominating the heats across a number of events. As expected, the men's 50-metre freestyle saw world record holder Cam McAvoy finish second in his heat behind Canada's Josh Liendo. The pair qualifying 1-2 overall. Fellow Aussies Jamie Jack qualifying 3rd fastest and Flynn Southam 5th heading into the semis tomorrow morning. In the women's 200-metre freestyle, Lani Pallister and Molly O'Callaghan winning their heats, going through to the final tomorrow morning as well. Inez Miller also through after finishing second to Pallister. Ione Anderson was fastest overall, qualifying for the semi-final of the women's 100-metre backstroke with Hannah Fredericks 3rd fastest, while Ben Armbruster and Matt Temple qualified for the men's 100-metre butterfly semi. Sienna Tui through to the semis of the 100-metre breaststroke, while 2023 world champion Sam Short qualified for the men's 400-metre free final along with Ben Godmans and Elijah Winnington. Boxing action to come as well. An all-Aussie debutant squad over in Glasgow. Paul Traynor competing in the heavyweight class tomorrow morning against Scotland's Alan Perry. The Aussies coming into the day sitting atop of the medal tally with 13 medals overall, including 6 gold, more than double the amount of Nigeria, who came in sitting second. Plenty more action tonight and in the early hours of the morning. We'll keep you updated across the ABC airwaves. Clinchy.
Thank you to Mitch Turner for all his work today. abc.net.au/news/sport has all the details with the live blog taking place across the Commonwealth Games, the AFL and the NRL. The Bulldogs winners by 57 points. So the 2 games to complete round 20 tomorrow. The Brisbane Lions unchanged as they take on Port Adelaide. The Power welcome back Jason Horne-Francis and Mitch Georgiades, but at the Gabba where the Power haven't had a great record in recent years, that feels like a tough task against the Lions, who are just starting to get going. 20-odd point win against the West Coast Eagles last week.
Yeah, Lions for me, quite easily, I think.
Yeah, they're getting going at the right time of year, Clinchy.
So that takes me to my curiosity of tomorrow. North Melbourne taking on St Kilda. Both of these sides need a win to stay in wild card calculation. And St Kilda bring Max King straight back into the AFL. What sort of result will he get?
Hopefully 4 quarters. That's the result every St Kilda person is looking for. If you can take a catch here and there and kick 1 or 2, fantastic. But getting through the whole game and then getting out there the following week, especially for the young man who's had a horror run, hasn't played for 2 years, that's what we're looking to see.
Likewise.
Would you have... If you're a player, like every player wants to play at the AFL level, don't they? They don't really want to play at the VFL level, but having suffered a hamstring injury against the Blues at VFL level, the decision to come straight back into the AFL after doing a somewhat lengthy conditioning block, went up and trained with his brother Ben at the Gold Coast. Would you be nervous the night before playing your first game since 2024?
Oh, you'd be extra nervous, but I'm probably not the person to ask. I was a nervous wreck, rocking up to a touch training session at the footy club. But no, it is a big call, particularly after 2 years. Like Bevo did it to Cody Waitman, which I was pretty surprised about. I think with Keith Ford, look, if it was
me, on the bench now.
Correct. I think that helps. I would have played him in a half for Sandringham if it was me, but what would I know?
Yeah, no, I'd throw him out there. They need a key forward badly. Caminiti was the guy, and he's no longer the guy. He's out of the team now. If he can come out the middle, take a grab, turn around, kick a goal, the enthusiasm that would spread amongst the team would be enormous. Could be match winning.
It feels like Max King was about their push to September in 2023. They lost an elimination final to the Suns. Maybe in a chess style, he's moved his king. We'll see what happens.
I want to finish on this,
yes.
and I did it again last week, is that AFL players are too cool for the team song at the moment. No, they are. Tell me the last time you heard a team song where it was sung with absolute gusto. The NRL have got it over the AFL at the moment in that regard. The players are a lot more passionate about a win. Putting it out there.
All right. The doggies do love their woos. We're out of time. Thank you, Cal.
Quickly, you would have loved playing with Grant Thomas. He didn't want to sing the song and
really
he won a grand final. I talked him out of it because I said, mate, I would have played for 17 years without singing it once. If I told me he won a grand final, I wouldn't know the words.
And no woos.
We're out of time. Thanks to Berkey. Thanks to Ian Cohen. Thanks to Loz. Thanks to Craig Davis. To Stu Birchmore.